All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We are back on another episode on the market close. It is Tuesday, November 12th, 3:47 p.m. And folks, we got a lot of earnings to cover after the bell. Rocketlab, Soundhound, Spotify, Cava, Marathon. There's a couple of other companies, but Rocketlab and Marathon, Spotify, I think those would be kind of the big ones that a lot of people are looking at. We also have Instacart, Oxy. That's a big Buffett play. So lots and lots and lots of stuff to cover over the next 45 minutes. At 4:30, we will be having Jason join us for Technical Tuesday. We didn't get to do it last week but because we had the election on Tuesday. So the market has been re-rated post-election. Obviously, things have gone up given Trump got elected. So technicals have changed. So we'll bring on Jason and we will go through all the main tickers that we need to look at when it comes to technicals. Now, why am I 2 minutes late for the stream outside of me being 2 minutes late for the stream every single time? It's because I just came back from the Miracle Whip. I have officially decided that we are calling it the Miracle Whip. Let me give full credit to this person in the chat, Ty Zuko. You got to call the Tesla Miracle Whip like I suggested. I thought about it for the past couple hours. I really took this seriously. Over the past couple hours. I think it's Miracle Whip. Here's why. First of all, whip means car, so that's incredible. I love that. Second of all, Miracle Whip basically is mayo, and I don't like mayo, so it's kind of an inside joke that it's a Miracle Whip, even though I don't really like mayo, so it's kind of like a sort of intimate joke that you guys and I have, because you guys know I don't like mayo. And then in general, when I was thinking about it, I was like, yo, I'm about to go pick up the Miracle Whip. Or, yo, I got to go get a burger, so I'm going to get inside my Miracle Whip. Like, it just sounds kind of cool. I'm going to go in the Miracle Whip. So for all intended purposes, at least for now, I think Miracle Whip is the name of the car. And I like it. That's a good one. So there you go. Thank you, Ty Zuko. It is Miracle Whip. Shout out to Chad. I will call it mayo. See, it's not really mayo. It's Miracle Whip. Even though I'm not ever eating Miracle Whip or mayo because they're basically the same thing. But I do like it. I think it's really cool. Another reason I was late, picked up this package. Speaking of Chad. So we got the official camo hat. I'm unboxing it live here. Delivered today. There we go. That is clean. That is clean. Shout out to Iliano. So I bought this one. Oh, it's a snapback. Oh, cool. It's a snapback. I haven't had a snapback in a while. So there you go. All the proceeds of this are going to be donated. So store.palantir.com if you guys want to order it. I love that. Look at that. American flag on the side. Palantir logo up front and camo. That's clean. That's super, super clean. Shout out to Iliano. Just got this in the mail right now. Super clean. And we will be wearing it pretty soon. So there we go. All right. Let's get into it. We got a lot of earnings to discuss and a lot of stuff to talk about today as well. Again, after the bell, Rocketlab, Soundhound, Spotify, Cava, Mara, Instacart. Bunch of these names. I don't really know what to expect for all these names. I do have some opinions on them that I'll discuss in a bit. But I'm curious what people think and what names people think kind of will do well or won't do well after the bell. A lot of these names have already rallied a lot, so we need a really good earnings. If we take a look at earnings from last week, we had a really big day. I think we had almost 25 companies. A lot of those companies were down on the day. Now, Pinterest recovering a little bit. Fortinet, by the way, is hitting $100 right now, so that's great. Cloudflare, Redfin, Affirm, all of them were kind of down last week, even post-election. So the earnings just weren't good enough to maintain momentum. This week, we have a new set of companies, and the first two that we looked at today in the morning, which was Shopify, absolutely crushed it, up 22% on the day. They did an amazing job. And then Home Depot crushed it as well. Not too much in terms of their stock. Well, now their stock's down 1%, but it was up about 2% in the beginning of the day. Another company, Tyson, that Palantir works with really well, they're not only up 7% on the day, they increased their dividend by 2%. So the fact that they have more money available to give back to shareholders means that the operational efficiency of that business seems to be going really well. And as a result, you're seeing Tyson get some love right here, and Tyson's up 7% on the day. Tyson, again, $20 billion company, not a big mover in terms of its stock, but looks like those earnings were good enough for the street. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin right now is at 89,872. It did touch 90,000 a couple hours ago after touching 90,000 at what time? I think in the morning around 3 a.m. So at 3 a.m. it touched 90,000 basically 2 hours ago. Looks like it wants to get back to 90,000 right here, 89,860. As a result, some of the crypto stocks are gaining some momentum. MicroStrategy is up 4% again on the day. Coinbase is currently down 2%. Again, Coinbase had a big run. Makes sense that people are taking some profits, but some of the other Bitcoin proxies are doing well. CleanSpark right here, up about 0.09% of the day. Marathon, they will have earnings. They were up 30% yesterday. They're up another 0.72% on the day. And then Robinhood's been kind of flat all day, rallied a little bit right now going into the green as we close at $33. I did sell one cash secured put on Robinhood. I wrote a long explanation for those that want to get introduced to cash secured puts on my Twitter. $30.50 for December 13th. And I don't know who in the chat suggested it, but I took the suggestion from one of you guys because it was a nice premium. I got 4.4%, about $135 on top of the $3,050 I collateralized. And if I have to buy 100 shares at $30.50 on December 13th, then I'll buy it. The main reason I sold that put, even though, $30 is close to 33, is because of those October metrics. I think the November metrics are going to be even better than October, just given the momentum that we're seeing. And when you put those 2 months together along with a decent December, even if I had to buy shares at $30.50, I would be okay with that. So that's what we got moving currently in the crypto markets. CrowdStrike at 343. CrowdStrike up about 0.34% of the day. Palantir took a little bit of a breather, but I don't even know if this is a breather, dude. It touched $60 an hour ago. Now it's at 59.86, down 0.64%. Is that really a dip? I wouldn't think so. So Palantir really just chilling out in this 59.90 range. I mean, it's not even the low 59s. It's basically almost at $60, 7 cents away from it. So Palantir really not too much movement today, but it was kind of chilling out. Meta actually had an activist investor invest in them today, which is incredible. So it's interesting that an activist investor, they were almost at $600 today. I forget the name of the investor. I'll pull that up in a second. But it is interesting that an activist investor would invest in Meta, given Meta stock is up 60% year to date. Most of the time, those activist investors, Value Act, they've taken a $1 billion stake in Meta, $1 billion stake. Most of the time, you take an activist stake in a company that's underperforming. Meta is doing great. So I don't know why they did that. We'll try to get some details on that, but that was some of the news today. That's why they spiked up to $600. Technical Tuesday will happen today, 4:30. We're going to deal with the madness of earnings at 4 o'clock. We got a bunch of companies to cover. And then at 4:30, Jason will be on and we will discuss everything going on in the world of earnings. Couple other headlines this morning. So this happened right after the market open. Amazon is in talks with IBM, 5-year deal. For $475 million, so about $500 million, that would give IBM access to NVIDIA's GPUs via AWS. So we've seen this a lot, that these hyperscalers are buying the GPUs. They're like actually buying the Blackwell's H100s from NVIDIA, and then they're renting the compute from those GPUs to startups, other companies, etc. So this is why I think the market's giving NVIDIA some love. Where's NVIDIA? Are we still at 149? We are at 148. So kind of, it's up 2% of the day, but hasn't been able to break through that 150 level. The hyperscalers are loading up all GPUs and then renting it out to all their cloud clients to run AI workloads. Many of these clients are small companies, but when it comes to IBM, they can obviously afford to pay much more to access these GPUs. IBM, I believe, does close to $60 billion a year in revenue. So the only reason IBM is paying this much is because they see an ROI in their business from having more AI workloads, which is the only reason Amazon is spending the amount of money in CapEx to buy those GPUs from NVIDIA, which is the only reason that people are investing in NVIDIA. So as long as those use cases continue to pop up more and more and more, we should continue to see momentum when it comes to AI spending, AI demand. And overall, that should be good for NVIDIA at the end of the day. Jensen interview earlier said they can spend $1 with NVIDIA and then rent that equipment out for $5. Yeah, and that's the promise, right? The promise is NVIDIA says, hey, you pay us $1, you will make much more than $1 after that. And if that promise continues to be true based on the use cases that companies are seeing from AI and from these AI workloads on the cloud, then that should only increase the cloud revenues for AWS, GCP, and Azure. And it should only increase demand for NVIDIA, because if NVIDIA can sell a chip that gives you the ability to put in $1 and instead of getting $5, you get $10, so 10x the output, hyperscalers are going to buy more GPUs. So that cycle seems like it's going well based on this deal that we saw today with Amazon and IBM. Again, not confirmed, but that was the thing that came out this morning. And we need to see a lot more of them. And the more of them we see, the more we will know that NVIDIA is in a good situation. SoFi right here, down about 2% of the day, 1383, still holding 1350 very well. So I think a close above 1350 would be super bullish. Upstart is down 10% on the day. Meta 584, AppLovin up about 1%. Again, this stock went crazy last week, up almost 70%. So AppLovin right there, almost at $300. Netflix 820, their ad tier subscribers have doubled. Now they have 70 million people paying Netflix $7 a month for ads. I personally would never do that. If I'm already paying, I would just pay to get the whole premium version of it. I wouldn't pay and then watch the ads as well, because like the cost of paying the non-ad tier version, although it might be double the amount, I feel like if you're already paying, you might as well. Like the whole point of watching ads to me is to not pay. So it is very interesting that 70 million people, I'm sure some of you in the chat as well, pay Netflix to watch the ads. But I guess if you're a casual Netflix viewer, then there's no point of paying like $20 a month just for Netflix. Google right here at 183. Square, our boy Jason's really bullish on Square today. He had a post yesterday about why Square is the next one after Coinbase and Robinhood to kind of take off. So we'll get his perspective on that today. Square right here up 5%. Zillow's down a little bit. Costco's down a little bit. Eli Lilly down about 1.5%. Cava down 2%. Let's make the list going into earnings today. So today's Tuesday, November 12th. So we have on this list, and then I want to get your guys' thoughts on what you think. I will be buying Rocketlab if it collapses below 10. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe I'm wrong, but I will be a net buyer today. I will buy at least 100 shares today if it actually goes down below 10. Or if it's at like 10, if it's at like 10.05 or whatever, I'll still be a buyer. But I don't know. Do they have a lot of momentum? I don't know if that has to happen. So we will see how that plays out. So we have Spotify, Marathon, Cava, Rocketlab, Instacart. We have Soundhound. For some reason, you guys love this company so much. I still can't figure out why you all love Soundhound, but we will cover Soundhound because everyone cares about. I feel like a lot of you guys got Soundhound at the bottom, and that's why you love it so much. But I still don't really understand why Soundhound is there. Do you think Tesla will rent out computing power, additional revenue? I think that's possible, but Dojo is what they need to get like really good in order to do that. And I don't think Dojo is at the scale of AWS, Azure, or GCP. Also, I don't think Tesla wants to be in the business of doing that yet. I mean, I think they're focused on a lot of things. And Elon did say Dojo was a long shot to be able to kind of do what AWS is doing right now. So I doubt that happens anytime soon, but maybe eventually it does happen. And if that's the case, then that could be an additional line of business for Tesla. Wolf and Rumble, we also have those two guys. So let's put those on the list. Let me know out of the ones you guys see on the list, which one do you think is the most exciting name today? So we have Rumble, Wolf, Honest, Soundhound, Cart, Spotify, Marathon, Cava, Rocketlab. I think the answer is Rocketlab for most of you guys. Honest as well. Yeah, let's do Honest. We'll put Honest up there. We got a bunch of these companies that we will have to be looking at today after the bell. About a minute until the market closes, and then we'll get into it. We will get into it. Yeah, Rocketlab and Soundhound for most of you guys seems to be the big one. Chad says, I don't care. Yo, Chad is just here to see me do my job, which is be a traffic coordinator around red and green. That's his entertainment. He just loves seeing me go crazy over red and green. He doesn't give a shit about any of these companies or what they do. All right, folks, we got 20 seconds until the madness of the markets once again begins. And then at 4:30, we will get into all the technicals that we have to look at. I'm the most excited for Rocketlab. And in fact, I think we'll do the poll. I'll do the poll right after I ring the bell. Rocketlab, pump or dump. I think that's the one most of you guys care about. So we'll take a look at that. And we should get results pretty soon. All right, Tuesday, November 12th, 4 p.m. The stock market is now closed. All right, let's get into it. Let me put up that poll real quick about Rocketlab, and let's take a look at it. Again, I'll be a net buyer if we actually fall to like 10. I don't know if that's a good price. I don't know if 14 is a good price. I really know nothing about it. I just know that I would like to get into the stock, and I think 10 would be the best, kind of based off the vibes, quite frankly. Not literally just based off the vibes, but I do think that would be a decent decline from 14 to 10 if we get there. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't expect that to happen. I really don't. In fact, I think they can go a lot higher just based off their momentum, but we got to see what numbers they report. Okay, here we go. Oh, Chad's on a plane right now? Oh, Chad, you're able to watch this from a plane? Wow. Do they have Starlinkers? Oh, that's great. That's amazing. The fact you're able to watch. I couldn't stream any videos from when I was on United going to India. Like, it just wouldn't work. So, yo, Chad's probably in first class, bro. That's what Chad's. He's probably in first class right now. All right, so let's see. Mag 7. What do we have in the Mag 7? How do we close out the day? Apple closed out flat. Microsoft closed up 1%. Meta closed up 0.28%. Google 0.75%. Amazon up 1%. Nvidia up 2%. Tesla was down 6%. Holy crap. I didn't see that the whole day. I did not see Tesla was down 6% the whole day. That's actually a surprise to me. Okay, so Tesla was down. Palantir ended 0.61% down, 59.87. Robinhood ended 33 on the dot. Not bad. Up 0.61%. And then SOFI ended 1382. That's bullish. CleanSpark was up about 0.11% on the day. Shopify ended up 20% on the day. And then where's the S&P? S&P ended 596, a little bit down. The Qs ended a little bit down, 512. And then IWM also ended a little bit down, 237, down about 2% on the day. All right, let's get into earnings. What do we got? You guys are saying Spotify? Are we pumping on Spotify? Wow, Spotify, you're green. Spotify is green. Spotify's already up like 100-something% this year. It's up another 5%. It looks like Spotify is doing what they need to do. Let me see if I can pull up the numbers right here. Spotify has got into profitability. They've done a lot of changes over the past 2 years. They've really increased their gross margins. Their user growth is impeccable. I mean, it's amazing. So it looks like Spotify, is it going up even further? Holy crap, 7%. This stock's at 450. Spotify, no numbers yet. Still looking for the numbers. Not out yet. But it should be out soon on Spotty. MicroStrategy needs to be in the Magnificent 8. Yeah, we probably need to do that. Yeah, Spotify's going above 450. Rocketlab flat. Cava's flat. Marathon's up 2%. Marathon, Bitcoin miner, they are up 2%. Soundhound is also up 2.5. You got Soundhound showing a little bit of love right here, up 2.5. TeraWolf's up a third. Rumble's up 2%. Honest is flat. And Instacart's up 2%. I don't think we have numbers yet for any of these companies outside of Spotify. Spotify now 8%. Holy crap. None of these companies have numbers yet. Rocketlab, again, up 1%. I think these are just short-term movements. We need the numbers first to really see a leg up or down. Did you see the Apple news? No, Gene, I did not see the Apple news. You could put it in the chat if there is some significant Apple news. Spotify right here, 7.3%. Let's see if we can get these numbers again. And then we'll try to get into the other guys. Spotify, nothing here yet. Spotify, wow, 252 million subscribers. Okay, so they beat by 2 million. I'm still all right. So EPS 188. That's with expectations. Revenue 4 billion, missing the estimate of 4.43. So they actually missed on expectations. Spotify now 9% on the day. Monthly active users grew 11%, 640 million monthly active users. Premium subscribers 252 million, up 12% year over year. Beat on subscribers, beat on MAUs, beat on EPS, or came in line with EPS, missed on revenue. The market's still giving them some love. Rocketlab is up 2.7. Rocketlab's up 2.7. Oh, let me see if I can get these numbers. But Spotify really seeming to crush earnings. But that is interesting. The market's giving them 8% after missing revenue. It's a slight miss, but still, the fact that the market's giving them that means they were pretty impressed with their metrics. Add on Spotify. Rocketlab numbers are not out yet. It's moving right now, but there's no numbers, so we got to be a little patient for that. Rocketlab is now up 4%. Wow, that's a new, I think, all-time high for Rocketlab, 1530. 1530 for Rocketlab. On the poll, 614 votes, 40% of you said dump, 58% of you said pump. As Rocketlab goes up, this is probably going to turn into 70-30 just magically somehow. The pumps ends up winning when the stock pumps. But 1538, Rocketlab's up 5%. Cava's up 2%. Marathon is now flat. Spotify's up 7.4%. Instacart's down 7%. There's our first big red guy of the day. Instacart down 8% now. Instacart's getting hit. Soundhound is up 3%. I don't have the numbers yet, but Soundhound is up 3%. TeraWolf is also down 6%. By the way, Stanley Druckenmiller owns a ton of this one, not just for the Bitcoin mining, but for the energy play that is associated with this company. So Drux is in this one. Maybe. We still have to get his 13G. He might have sold out of it. We will get that probably this week or next week. Rumble is also down 8%. Rumble is down 8%. But Rocketlab and Spotify leading the way. Spotify up 7%. Rocketlab up 4%. Currently, right now. Rocketlab isn't out yet. All right, so Rocketlab seems to be pumping with no numbers yet. So that could be a little, that could go the other way. We got to be a little bit careful on that. Yeah, no one has the numbers on Rocketlab. Absolutely no one has the numbers. I would have seen it by now. No one has the Rocketlab numbers. Instacart, I'm sure some people have the numbers. TeraWolf, okay, TeraWolf had a double miss. They lost 6 cents on EPS versus 3 cents. And revenue on TeraWolf. TeraWolf now down 2%, recovering a little bit from that 6% decline. 27 million versus 31 million. So you got a double miss on TeraWolf. That's not the best for the other Bitcoin miners. Again, some of them are better than TeraWolf, but not the best sign to see a double miss on TeraWolf. Rumble's down 8%. Marathon, yeah, Marathon's now down 2%. If TeraWolf's down, Marathon could go down with it just because they're all in that same category. But let's see till we get the actual numbers. Is Marathon out? No, Marathon's not out yet. Honest is up 4%. Rocket Mortgage. I did not know that they were reporting earnings today. Wow, Rocket Mortgage down 10%. Okay, so that one's down as well. That's the biggest one of the day that's down. Spotify's touching 9%. Instacart's down 7%. I'm going to try to get the Instacart numbers. Instacart, EPS 42 cents. That's a beat. Revenue, 852 million. That's a beat. Authorized 250 million in buybacks. That's good. Gross transaction volumes, 8.3 billion versus 8.19. That's a beat. Adjusted EBITDA, 230 to 240. That's a miss. Street wanted 243 in adjusted EBITDA. They said they would only do 240. Maybe that's why Instacart is down 7%. That would be a weird reason if that's the only reason it's down. But it seems like that might be one of the reasons. Spotify's up 10%. Holy crap, 459. Rocketlab's now up 2%. So no one has the numbers. That initial 4% pump was not based on anything yet, as the pump is starting to fade a little bit. Rocketlab numbers are not out yet. They are not out yet. Soundhound numbers, let me take a look at them. I don't think they are out yet either. Soundhound is up 1%. No numbers on Soundhound yet. Yeah, maybe 410 or 415 is when most of these companies put it out. But as of now, nothing. Here we go. Let's get an update on Spotify as we're looking for the rest of these numbers and Instacart. All right, so we'll do Instacart and Spotify right here, and then we'll keep going from there.
Hey, Morgan, stock is volatile in the after hours. Is initially up by more than 2%. It's now lower by about 6%. Let me give you the numbers. It was a beat on the top and bottom line. Guidance, though, is mixed, which is probably hitting the stock right now. EPS of 42 cents versus 22 cents expected. So big beat there. Revenue of $852 million versus $844 million.
Soundhound is down 7%. I'll get the numbers in a second, but that one is down 7% right now.
Expected. Beat on all of the other metrics from the third quarter, the key ones anyways, including gross transaction values, orders, and adjusted EBITDA. The Q4 outlook, like I said, is mixed. GTV, that's gross transaction volume, is about in line with the midpoint. The midpoint of the street's expectation is in line. Adjusted EBITDA, though, a little bit light, and that is likely what is hitting the shares. This is, of course, a measure of profitability. So you see Instacart or Maple Bear shares down more than 7% now.
Okay, Deirdre Bosa, thank you. Spotify earnings are out. Julia Borston has those numbers. Julia.
Yeah, Spotify missing on the top and bottom line, but we see the stock shooting higher in after hours trading now about 9%. That reflecting a gross margin beat and a sort of some mixed.
Guys, Soundhound is down 15%. I'm getting the numbers, but this one's getting hit after hours.
Expectations, mixed guidance for the fourth quarter. The company's EPS of €1.45, short of estimates of €1.72. Revenues of €3.99 billion, short of the €4.02 billion estimated. Now, gross margins, though, of 31.1%, ahead of the company's forecast, and the street account estimate of 30.2%. Monthly active users of 640 million, also 1 million more than expected, while premium subscribers of 252 million, also ahead of estimates. Now, for the fourth quarter, the company is guiding to revenue that is short of consensus, but also guiding to monthly active users and premium subscribers, as well as margins ahead of estimates. So what we seem to be seeing here is some pricing pressure here. Subscriber growth is quite.
Yeah, it looks like margins on Spotify. Again, the story on Spotify was they have all these users. They can't make money. If they're starting to make money, with those margins going up, that might be a reason why the street's giving them some love. Soundhound's getting just decimated right here. It's a nasty red candle. People are buying the dip at $6.10. Now it's at $6.50, down 13%. It was down 17%. Spotify still up 7.3%. Marathon's down 1%. Rumble's down 2%. Rocket Company's down 9%. TerraWolf down 4%. Honest up 3%. Rocketlab, we still don't have the numbers, folks. That's the one we're waiting for. And so we're seeing what can happen on Rocketlab. Cava's up. Cava is up 8%. All right. Cava's getting some love right here. I've still not eaten at Cava ever. I need to do that one day. But Cava getting a little bit of love. Let's see if we can pull up their numbers right now. They had a good earnings last time too. Wait, wasn't this stock one of those stocks that's up 150 year to date? Cava year to date is up. Never mind. It's not 150. It's 250. Like some of these stocks, bro, they just find a way. I mean, this is why this market has been so strong this year. Is you got random shit like Cava that's executing and going up. Wow, 40% revenue growth on Cava. I'm looking at Cava right now. 40% revenue growth. Same store sales, 18% growth. Net new openings, 11 net new restaurants. AUV of 2.8 million. per restaurant, 61.8 million profit per restaurant, group net income 18 million, net cash 43 million with a free cash flow of 23 million. Numbers aren't bad. They're a profitable restaurant that's growing. 40% revenue growth for a restaurant is not easy to do. And their margins are better than most restaurant margins. They're not like gross tech margins, but still decent. Cava right here up 6%. Rocketlab still up 1%. Spotify up 7%. Instacart still down 5%. Soundhound now recovering. It was down 16%. Now it's down 7%. So you had some people definitely buy the dip. Soundhound had 53 million shares traded today. Why are people obsessed with this company? I don't get it, bro. I do not get it. Shout out to Jose in the chat. Jose, we got to get you on the show tomorrow to discuss SMCI, AMD, all that good stuff. We also had some other semi-stocks do earnings. So Jose, we'll get you on tomorrow morning. Jose says 40% revenue growth. What kind of AI does Cava do? Yeah, that's a hell of a question, dude. 40% revenue growth? Are you kidding me? There's got to be something in that food that's getting people to come back. Rocket Company still down 10%. Rocketlab's down. Rocketlab's down. Rocketlab, no, never mind. No, now it's up. Now it's up. Now it's up. It was down. Now it's down. Now it's flat. No, now it's actually down. Now it's down. No. Wait. 1.64 down. Hold on. There's a red candle. Like I see a red candle right there. Where's it going, bro? Is it now? It's down 0.82. Now it's like now it's down 1.23. Hold on, I gotta get the numbers. What are the numbers? Again, Rocket Lab's up a lot this year. It's up 230% year over year in the past year. So it's one thing to remember going into these results. But it could potentially go a lot higher if they crush earnings. Now it's up. Now it's down. It was up for a second. Now it's up 0.55%. Now it's down. Wow, this is weird. The street has no idea how to react to these numbers right now. Cava's up 10%. Marathon's down 2%. Rocket Lab is now up 0.61%, I think. Look at this red can. Dude, it's red. It's green. It's red. It's green. Now it's barely up. Now it's kind of flat. Rocket Lab earnings are 5 p.m. Yeah, so Matt Money is going to have Rocket Lab earnings on 5 p.m. I will give a link to anyone who wants to watch it. I will link to his channel. I'm going to be doing Technical Tuesday here with Jason, but if anyone wants to actually listen to the call, Matt and Vince are streaming it. I will give a link in the chat, and you guys can go with them and listen to it. But Rocket Lab right here, now it's up 1%. Again, barely moving. I'm trying to find these numbers. I think they just published it on the website. Hold on. Rocket Lab, no, it's not published. They tweeted, though. Rocket Lab did tweet, but their numbers are not out. Their webcast is at 5 p.m., but the results should be now. I don't think the results are waiting until 5 p.m. I don't think so. Cava's up 15% after hours. Goodness gracious, dude. This thing's up almost 270% year to date. Freaking Cava. Mediterranean food, dude. Mediterranean food is outperforming the majority of the market. Now Rocket Lab's up 2%. Now it's up 2%. Now it's actually up 2%. Yo, one of the things that would be funny is if Rocket Lab just goes flat for the day. I mean, that could happen, right? Oh, now it's pumping. Now we got to pump. I think, no, now we don't. It was just up 5%, bro. I'm seeing this with my eyes. Does CNBC cover Rocket Lab ever? I don't think I've ever seen them cover it. Would they have the results? I don't think they would have the results. I don't think they care about Rocket Lab. I don't know. I don't know if they would cover it. We'll see. No, now it's up. Now we're up. Now we're up. Yes, there we go, baby. Look at Rocket Lab. No, now it's not. It was up. Dude, it just went from up 10% to up 5% to up 7% to up 9% to up 6%. Now I think it's stabilizing at 9%. There you go. Rocket Lab 16. 16. Is that an all-time high for Rocket Lab? That is, what's the max on Rocket Lab? Rocket Lab max is 21. Okay, so that's a 52-week high for sure. But look at that chart. It's getting back to those levels. In 2021, it was 16. So it touched 21 at one point, but it was kind of chilling out at 16 in 2021, basically getting back to those. Wow, dude, Rocket Lab up 10% after pumping basically 100. No, not 100%. It was 350 at the lows. Pumping almost 400% before this 10% raise is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. All right, the numbers should be out soon, or the numbers should be out literally right now. Rocket Lab numbers, okay, here we go. 10 cents of EPS negative, so they lost 10 cents of EPS, so better than the street expectations. Revenue 104 versus 102. Not a crazy double beat, but it is a double beat. They beat by 1 cent, still not profitable, but they're going to be profitable probably in like 2 to 3 quarters, I would argue. So, I mean, that's a catalyst that they have. And then 104 versus 102, they did beat on top line revenue. There's got to be something else the street's really liking here on Rocketlab. Maybe something around guidance. Oh, here we go. I got the actual thing. Here we go. Okay, so Peter Beck says, this is the CEO, in the third quarter of 2024, we once again executed our end-to-end space strategy with successes and key achievements reached across small and medium launch, as well as space systems. Revenue grew 55%. Whoa. Talk about a growth stock. 55%. Not bad. $105 million, and we continue to see strong demand growth with our backlog of $1.05 billion. Significant achievements in the quarter include signing a launch service agreement for multiple launches on Neutron with a confidential commercial satellite constellation customer, successfully launching 12 Electron launches year to date, and making 2024 a record year for launches with more still to come. They expect $135 million of revenue for fourth quarter 2024. Can someone tell me what growth rate that is? I think that's close to 50% growth. If someone can do the math on that, because I don't know what their fourth quarter 2023 was, but I believe that's 40 to 50% growth. Gross margins of 28%, operating expenses of 84 to 86 million, EBITDA of 29 million, and basic shares outstanding of 501 million, which I think means no dilution to very small dilution, which is very good for Rocketlab. Well, there you go. That's bullish. That's very, very, very bullish. Let's pull that up again. So where's this chart? Rocketlab is now up 10% on this bad boy. 10% on Rocketlab. So there you go. Rocketlab's pumping. Spotify's up 9%. Marathon's down 3%. TeraWolf's down 2%. Soundhound just went green. Soundhound just went green. Soundhound reports record third quarter revenue up 89%, exceeding 25 million, raises outlook. All right, so revenue's up almost 90% year over year. Again, 25 million is not a ton of revenue, but the growth is what investors are paying for. Market cap of Soundhound, 2.5 billion. The stock was down 16% at 410. At 418, it is up 3%. So it looks like, I guess, the street thought that 90% revenue growth was good, and that's why it's green. There you go. I'll try to get more Soundhound numbers in a second, but Soundhound is up. Honest is up 4%. I think someone put it in the chat right here for Honest. Soundhound definitely had a rebound. Honest had 99.2 million versus 92. That's a big beat by 7 million. Net income of 0.17 versus a loss. So the market thought they would lose money. They ended up making money. Adjusted EBITDA of 7.8 million versus 2.79. That's a $5 million beat on adjusted EBITDA. Gross margins of 38 versus 35. That's a 3% beat on gross margins. I would think Honest should be up 10%, to be honest. Okay. This is what happens, dude, when you're natural. This is what happens. I did not plan that. I promise I did not plan that. But to be honest, I think Honest should be up 10%. Those are great numbers. They beat on every underlying metric, and they surprised with profitability. I mean, that's a great quarter for Honest. That's not bad. Instacart right here down 4%, recovering a little bit. It was down 8%. Spotify up 9%. Rocketlab trying to go for up 11% on the day with Rocketlab. Not bad at all. Okay, let me see if CNBC is covering any of the stocks that just came out and reported. All right, so we have Cava. Let's get some Cava coverage, and then we will get into some more coverage on Rocketlab. And then again at 4:30, so in 10 minutes, I will be having Jason join the show. For those that don't know Jason, he is, in my opinion, the best technical analyst on the planet, quite frankly. I mean, the way he's been doing this for 20 years, he understands this stuff, so he'll be joining the show, and we will get into all the technicals today.
Out because Cava earnings are out. The stock is popping. Kate Rogers has the numbers. Kate.
Hi, John. Yeah, popping on this strong report for Q3. EPS beat, reporting 15 cents, better than the 11 cents estimated. Revenues also a beat here, 244 million, above the 234 million the street was looking for. Adjusted EBITDA, 33.5 million, also above the 29.5 million estimated. Same store sales, a big beat for the quarter, up 18.1%, much better than the up 12.2% analysts had estimated. On this report, also raising its full year outlook up from its 2024 guidance given back in August. Now expecting full year outlook of net new Cava restaurant openings between 56 and 58. That's up from 54 to 57. Also projecting same store sales growth range of up 12 to 13%. That's much better than the up 8.5 to 9.5% previously forecast. Cava restaurant level profit margin now in a range of 24.5% to 25%, slightly above what it had previously guided, and also guiding for adjusted EBITDA in the range of 121 million to 126 million, also much higher than the previously given range of 109 million to 114 million.
Guys, I know why Rocketlab's up right now. Rocketlab did $60 million in Q4 2023. They are guiding on the high end for 135. That is 125% growth that they're guiding for into Q4. Last Q4, they did 16% growth. So that's why the stock is pumping, even though the stock was pumping. Oh my God, Rocketlab's up 20%. Yeah, there you go. Rocketlab is up 20 freaking percent. That has got to be the reason. That guidance getting baked in. The street's loving it. The street is loving this guidance. They did 60 million in Q4. They're saying they're going to do on minimum 125 million, on the high end 135 million. Imagine if they beat that. That is 125% growth expected into Q4, along with the fact that that their basic shares outstanding are only at 500 million, and the gross margins are at 28%, which is higher than what it was in Q4. And in Q4 last year, they only grew 16%. So even though it was up, a lot year to date, and it was up 500% from the lows, like with that revenue growth cannot be ignored. 125% revenue growth. They did 55% revenue growth in Q3, which means quarter over quarter, they are doing 70% more revenue growth than the previous quarter. I mean, yeah, that deserves it. I think. I mean, I know nothing about their valuation, just off those pure growth metrics. If I'm a growth investor and I just want growth, and I'm looking for companies that are growing in the stock market, that potentially have a moat, that have great leadership, that are an exciting industry, that have a TAM that can be compared to potentially the TAM of trillions when we talk about space and SpaceX. I mean, if I'm looking for growth, 125% revenue growth guidance is exceptional. And I think that's why we're getting some momentum right now for Rocketlab. All right, let's go back to Cava, and then we'll see some of the other stocks that have earnings.
The stock is up just under 10% now. It is up over 230% year to date. It's neck and neck with Sweetgreen, actually, for the best performer of the year. Back over to you, Morgan.
All right. Kate Rogers, thank you. Now let's turn to senior markets commentator Mike Santoli.
Okay, let's see if they have Rocketlab. Do they cover Rocketlab? No, they're doing Oxy. All right, let's take a look at Oxy, and I'll get some more numbers on Rocketlab in a second.
7.15 billion, a little bit short of the 7.23 billion that Wall Street was looking for. Total production for the quarter was 1.4 million barrels of oil equivalent per day. That was a little bit ahead of estimates. Now, the company did say that they saw their highest quarterly operating cash flow this year during Q3, and that they've made significant progress in their deleveraging efforts, achieving nearly 90% of their short-term debt reduction target. Stock up about 1% here. Guys?
All right, Pippa, thanks. Well, Spotify shares are shooting higher in overtime despite a miss on the top.
Okay, cool. So again, that Rocketlab numbers, that's what's getting the market exciting right now. Rita says SpaceX valuation is $210 billion. If Rocketlab Neutron is successful and they capture 5% of their market, that's $10 billion. Yeah, I think SpaceX definitely gives the TAM for what they're looking at. Again, they are guiding for $135 million in revenue. Let me share that again, just so everyone can see it. In Q4 2023, they did 60 million of revenue. So if you take 135 minus 60 divided by 60, that gives you 75. 75 divided by 60, that gives you 1.25. That is a 125% growth. If they only do 125 minus 60 divided by 60, that is 108% year-over-year growth. So they're guiding for 100% growth at minimum going into Q4. And that is why Rocketlab, at least that's my thesis for now, why it's pumping on that guidance. And I think that guidance is being factored in. Now, is $17 overvalued, undervalued? I have no idea. I really do have no idea. But that growth is something the street's paying up for. Spotify up 9%, Marathon's down 3%, Honest is up 9%. Okay, so I had a feeling Honest should be up 10%. There you go. Honest is up 10%. Beat on adjusted EBITDA. You're now profitable. Beat on revenue. It's a small cap, dude. It's $480 million. Any really good moves on earnings can move this guy. So Honest right here up 9% on earnings at $5.25. TeraWolf still down 5%. Rumble, let's take a look at Rumble earnings. This one's always interesting to look at because they're a competitor to YouTube. Quite frankly, I never really took Rumble that seriously. I get their whole free speech argument, but I don't think the platform itself is that amazing when it comes to content. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys actually watch Rumble on a day-to-day basis. And that's always why I've been a little skeptical of them as a real media play. But we'll take a look at Rumble in a second. CNBC is covering Rocketlab. All right, let me turn to them. Let me see what they're saying right here. But yeah, they are covering it. All right, here we go. Let's go to Rocketlab, and I'll try to get the Marathon numbers in a second.
18.5% right now. It was a beat on the top and bottom lines for Rocketlab. Earnings a loss of 10 cents per share. That was a penny better than estimates. Revenue also better than expected, coming in at 105 million versus estimates of 102 million. That represented a 55% increase in sales. In terms of the guidance, saying adjusted EBITDA loss of $30.9 million is what's expected. It looks like for the current quarter, that is better than estimates. Adjusted gross margin for the last quarter, I should say, adjusted gross margin of 31.3%, also better than estimates. For Q4, Rocketlab is expecting revenue of 125 million to 135 million. That is also better than street consensus, and sees Q4 adjusted EBITDA loss of 27 to 29 million, which is basically in line with expectations. The company also talking about its Electron rocket, which is its small rocket, and the fact that they've so far launched 12 and that's a record for the year, with more launches expected to go in November and December, speaking to development of the medium lift Neutron rocket and the space systems, and that all of those businesses together really propelling, it looks like, this guidance. That would be a record amount of revenue for the quarter in Q4. So you can see shares are up 15%. This is a stock that has been soaring triple digits since the start of the year, John.
Yeah, lifting off in overtime for sure. Well, up next, Ares Global Head of Wealth Management on how the...
Okay, so there you go. That's the Rocketlab coverage, and Rocketlab is doing well. Now, look, again, I really have no idea on Rocketlab if it's undervalued, overvalued. I just haven't done enough analysis on the numbers. But I know that we are in a momentum-based market. We are in a market where Trump and Elon are best friends. Elon has a lot of contracts probably coming up for SpaceX that Trump's, I would say, more inclined to give to the better company over the legacy contractors like Boeing. And if SpaceX is winning more contracts, and in general, satellite communications are getting more momentum with ASTS, we've seen that this past year, you could argue the TAM is there for the market to get excited about a company like Rocketlab. And if they can deliver on the growth, which the guidance looks like they are delivering on the growth, then that's what's keeping Rocketlab afloat right now. And also, they're not profitable yet. I would imagine in a couple of quarters, I mean, they're 10 cents away from profitability. They need to flip up a couple switches to become a little bit better on their margins. They get profitable. Now you've got a profitable growth stock with a massive TAM. And that's why I think the street is up 16% on Rocketlab. Spotify up 8%. Marathon has a double miss, folks, just like TeraWulf. Marathon had a double miss. So here are the Marathon numbers. And again, I expected the Bitcoin miners to not do that well in Q3 because Bitcoin's taking off and it's Q4. So it's probably going to take some time for the Bitcoin miners to reflect that in their numbers. But EPS 42 cents versus 35 cents of a loss. That's a 7-cent loss. And then revenue 131 versus 144. That is a $13 million loss on revenue, which is also not the best thing. So it's not getting hammered. Also, it was up 30% yesterday. A lot of the miners were up a lot, so we got to remember that. But it is down right here on those numbers. Rocketlab now up 18%. Spotify up 9%. Rocket Mortgage Company down 7%. Rumble down 10.6%. Don't have the numbers for Rumble yet, but Street doesn't like it. TeraWulf down 5%. And then Honest right here up 10% on the day. Where's Cava? Cava is 16%. So Cava and Rocketlab. Cava, Rocketlab, Spotify. Looks like and Honest. Let's give Honest. So Cava, Rocketlab, and Honest seem like the winners of today's earnings. Cava showing that the consumer has money to spend on food. Rocketlab showing that the space industry is alive. Spotify showing that people have disposable income to spend $10 a month on music. And then Honest Company, they sell baby products and all these other stuff. I guess consumers have the ability to spend money on things that might be more family friendly than your average Walmart brand of diapers. And so all four products showing, these are all four outside of Rocketlab consumer companies showing that there is demand in the marketplace to spend disposable income on music or food. And the market's reacting positively to that by sending all these stocks higher by an average of 10%. Not bad. And Shopify proved that as well today. Shopify proved that as well, that the market has the momentum to agree that the consumer is willing to spend. Soundhound now is down 2%. So Soundhound was down 16, then went up 2. Now it is down 1%. I think the earnings call on Soundhound is going to determine kind of where that stock ultimately ends up going. Okay, cool. We will look at some of these other stocks as we dive into Technical Tuesday. So we'll get some more results probably in like the next 30 minutes as some of these stocks report some more numbers. I'll get some quotes from the earnings calls. Those will be out in just a little bit. But let's bring on one of our favorite contributors onto the show. We've got a lot of stocks, Tesla, Palantir, NVIDIA, all these names that have been re-rated after a Trump presidency. And we need to do some juicy technicals to figure out where these stocks are going. Let's roll the intro.
That's money, man. That is money.
It's
Welcome,
money.
everybody. I'm happy to be back, man. I missed you.
Yeah, last week we couldn't do the show because we had an American election, but that election
We did. We kind of had one of those things. Might be a big deal. So it's all good. I missed everybody though. What a crazy day. What a crazy week.
What a crazy week, bro. Fucking Robinhood, $33. Like
Robinhood, my ETHU is just like flying. Coinbase, I mean, MSTR, the greatest Ponzi in the market. Like, it's amazing, right? Greatest Ponzi in the market. And we got a Netflix fight, I think, this Friday, and that thing's making new all-time highs seemingly daily.
I forgot that fight might be a catalyst for Netflix.
I mean, you know, it's not Netflix X, but, you know, it's as good as we can get for right now. That's for sure.
All right, so we got a lot to get into. So we're going to be around, guys, probably for the next 2 hours, going through as many tickers as we can. Put the tickers in the chat. This is Jason's Twitter. You can make sure to follow him there and get access to all of his stuff.
Appreciate
Jason, can we start with Palantir? Because that has had a hell of a move, and then we'll get into Tesla and all those other things.
It has. There's all right.
Hold on, real quick. Also, for those that care about Rocketlab earnings, my boy Matt Money is live right now. So for those that are really, really big into Rocketlab, he's doing a Rocketlab stream. Here's the link right here in the chat. If you want to leave this one, please make sure to check out Matt Money and enjoy your 20% pump with Matt Money on Rocketlab.
I didn't realize Matt covered that. I guess I'm gonna have to.
Dude, Matt's the cult leader. Matt's the one who got everyone in.
I had no idea. All right, well, Matt's got a new fan then, because yeah, this has been a hard one. You and I were talking about Rocketlab at like $4 or $5, right? And I mean, here it is, 15, 16. How much is this? Oh my god,
it's up. All right, let's start off with Palantir. What's going on here?
It's almost $18.
Rocketlab.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Matt knows how to pick stocks. Matt's a good stock picker. He's a good stock picker. He got Dutch Bros too. Matt's earning his stripes right now. He's doing his shit. He's doing it well.
That's a good one, man. It's a good one. So was Palantir though. We got to give you that as well. This is a tough spot though. So I have to start very, very high level, right? Like this is a weekly chart on Palantir, just to be fair. And like, I mean, this is months ago when we were talking about this kind of double top, and we talked about, and I'm going to do something today with Palantir that might be helpful. Just because we're in an all-time high category, right? And it's very hard for people to be like, how do I put money into the market all-time highs? Do I wait for a pullback? You know, I think you've been pretty good, and especially on Robinhood, you know, like the company's executing, right? And you're constantly putting out the updates. But overall, it is hard. Spam mayo in the chat.
I forgot to say, if you go there, spam mail, because it's always so fun to see the reactions after all these mails. So make sure you do it.
Dude, I don't know what it is. I get the avocados for some reason in mine.
Yeah, I guess people like it.
But here we are, right? So what I did right now is I just took what's called like an extension, so fib extension. And what I'm doing, if this was that consolidation on Palantir, so this was from 27, give or take, at the consolidation point over here. So it's this box. I can draw it across. This is your big breakout. The lows here around $6. All I'm doing, and we did this a long time ago, but I'm just taking this and I'm duplicating this box and we put it right on here. So that gave us that $50 target that a lot of people were kind of looking at now. So what's happening now is if you were to do this one more time, this is the next extension level, and that's between 62.50 and 58.60. And from a weekly perspective, right now, this looks like we're a bit toppy. And this was a big earnings kind of move, but we have to take, and I'm going to drop down into a smaller time frame here. So it's really this initially day-to-day basis. And this is going to be the top of not yesterday, but the day before 58.33. So if we can hold 58.33 and if we can get over 62, let's just say that.
Did you ever thought you would be saying if we can hold 58.33?
I'm saying that right now. I'm just like, you heard me, you watched me pause for a second. I'm like, oh my God. You know, your targets, this is the number 3. So it's triple the extension. So we've already doubled the consolidation here. That's to 48 near 50. And then if you were to do that again, essentially what this does is it brings you to $70. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Also, that brings you
continue this trajectory.
Correct. And that brings you to a qualitative argument that I've been having, which is 70 billion or $70 is 150 billion, which is the equivalent of OpenAI's market cap. And maybe the street wants to give it the same market cap that they think the other big AI companies.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. So I think, you know, having the target is great. You know, what's going to happen? And if you lose this 58, right? Like, it's not like you're going to go out and sell this thing. I hope not. Right. I honestly, I haven't even sold anything, and I'm sitting here looking at this too. And I'm like, oh, this is tough. So what we do is we take from this earnings gap here to where we are today. And I'm going to create one more kind of retracement tool. So 50% of the last week, give or take, week and a half, would actually take us to 52. And so in this spot, if you get a big market pullback, and let's say something happens to Palantir, or, you know, the market decides that it's not its kind of darling anymore, this is the area that you're looking for pullback, right? Up nearly my cost basis. Yeah, just in today's after hours. This is the area that you would be looking for a pullback. I think, you know,
what is the number on that area? 42.
So 48.70. So remember, we took this consolidation area, we doubled it. That's just over 48, slightly under 50, if that makes sense. I know it sounds like a ways from here, but honestly, this is kind of like, this has been one of those stocks where you might see that in a couple days, and then, you know, a week later, it's like it was just a nightmare, right? Like it didn't even happen. So you never know. But if we can't really hold or get out of this area, then I do think that Palantir would be. So here's where I am. If Palantir and the market aren't able to extend, even if this is a pullback, if this does pull back, let's say we do something like this, and then we start to get up here, and and Palantir doesn't make a new high and does a little something like this, it's at this point that I would all of a sudden, first time I'm saying this, be into selling upside credit spreads on Rocket or on Palantir. So in that instance, then I think Palantir goes into a pretty heavy bout of consolidation, which really would be kind of like your edge of that consolidation. So I'd be looking at probably selling like some $45 puts and also selling some $65 calls, and actually putting it into this box right in here for a while. If this happens and we get up here, but you can't make a new high, that's the time I would be looking for that. And eventually, I think it would likely resolve itself up as long as everything's good. But this time frame that it could be stuck in this box could be a while, which would potentially present an opportunity to sell some pretty hefty premiums on Palantir now that it's finally at a price point that it's worth it.
Your gut feeling, I would imagine, is that it takes a breather, or you think the momentum is heavy enough?
My gut feeling, so it's a cult stock, right? At this point, my gut feeling is that it could take a breather. I'm going to know. So for right now, you don't want to press that right away. The trigger, so if this, then that, right? Because we're trading here. So if this happens, then we take a breather. And what this is if we pull back and then we lock in a higher low, right? Because this is the last low. Let's say we lock in a higher low. And then we also lock in a lower high. The second that you lock in a lower high, that's the if this, then we go into consolidation for probably a month or so. It's not pullback. It's just, you know, stocks go three directions. They go up, they go down, and they go sideways, quite frankly. So this is a huge move. Honestly, when we first did this, it was supposed to be like a year to make this move, and it's done it in a little bit. If this is like what happens, here's the other thing. It's not taking a breather if you're over 62. Does that make sense? So if that 62.10 is there, so even if you lock in a lower high, let me draw these out. So let's say you come down, you do this, you lock in a lower high, and it could do this at any point. If you get a breach slightly, and then you come in and lock in another lower high, this right here is when you know, okay, this is over. If you get a very, like just a minute kind of breach, then you get another lower high. It's actually going to be a very high lower high. It's probably going to be around 58. So price action wise, if you see 62.50, let's say, and then it can't get below 59 after that, then you're probably going to continue to the upside, and we're probably going to see 70 or 60. It's 69.50.
And 69 is also the 0.68 fib extension, correct?
It's a 300% extension from the original consolidation here.
Okay, got it.
So if this is a 200%, so this is a 100% extension here at 48, which is why that's heavy support at this point. I don't know if it would. We'd have to get like if Palantir, I'm trying to rack my brain. What would have to happen for the fundamental story would have to change. If something fundamentally changed around Palantir, have they ever lost a contract? Like ever?
I'm sure they have, but like they've been
Really?
winning a lot of big ones. Yeah.
Yeah. For whatever reason, if they lost a contract or maybe like a major competitor started showing up in the space, something fundamental that changes in the story, then I think, yeah, you could.
I mean, look, if they have any earnings where they don't have the right numbers, the street could get upset because the stock's priced for beyond, perfection. So
yeah,
that's fair. That is very fair. All right. So Palantir, either we head above 62 if we can hold that level, or probably into that 48 level if we can't maintain that momentum. Can we do Tesla?
Yeah.
Because Tesla has had a fun little run since Trump got
Massive.
elected, and I think all the technicals have to be re-rated now.
You think so?
I mean, did you think it was going to 350 post-Trump?
No, I didn't think it was going 350 post earnings. So we got the pullback. We have this, and I posted something. I think it was this. Is this even the right chart? I have so many charts. I don't even know if this is the one that we were working off of.
By the way, guys, Rocketlab up 20% after hours. It touched 1874, currently 1768.
It was 1874, dude. This thing is so insane.
This thing has 400 million in revenue, and its market cap is closing in on 10 billion. So the street's definitely paying a premium right here. But
I think it might have been this. So potentially this, like, yeah, it was probably this that I posted. So every time we get like this little bit of a new high, so we know initially, hey, so this high and this series was broken like this of this trend, and you break out initially, it pulls back. Usually the first time you break, it's kind of like a fake one and you likely come back in. This earnings here, I couldn't trade this just because it's an earnings one, but here this day, I think it was something like this. You potentially could have said, hey, look, something's happening here. And if you drop down in the 30s, 30 minute time frame, it's right here in the after hours. You're just like, you're going, right? But I got to pull up my timeline. I know I posted this.
Yeah, because I think the biggest thing people are curious about right now, we've seen Tesla go on these ridiculous swings up and down. And I think a lot of questions I've been getting is, like, I believe in Tesla from the people that are asking these questions, but like, is 340, 320, 330 reasonable to be paying right here? So from a technical perspective, that's, I think, what people want to know.
Yeah, I think, Stock Talk says it probably best, right? Like, I don't remember what Tesla trades like a proxy to Elon, right? Oh, here we go. And so when we look at, it was just this, whatever this was on the 5th of November. I think this was probably before.
Right before the election.
Yeah. So somewhere in here, probably this day. Oh, and it was just this one after I had that. You're looking at this near term.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this right here, this day. and then you have election day and you're gone. So I think the question is really like, okay, fine. We're here. Now what do we do? Right? Like that's all well and good. It doesn't really matter because it's kind of past tense at this point. So let's revisit per the request. So this area here, definitively going to be kind of our support. Let's call it. So this order here. So I say order. It's essentially what we're looking for is we're looking for a horizontal level on a chart where over time it's reacted multiple times with aggressive behavior at the same price. So here, this is just under 300, It's like 300. And then you have a gap up on earnings here. That became support here. Big consolidation right here. Just slightly under becomes resistance. Do you see this? How I'm talking about like right in here.
Right.
And so this now kind of becomes your major area. And so I'm going to highlight right in here, this kind of volume shelf. And the way this works is we're going to get really kind of like in the weeds. And let's go ahead and take some of these trend lines off because we know that that's broken.
By the way, guys, Bezos apparently just sold another 1.25 billion today of Amazon. Yep, that is correct. 1.25 billion today.
He's buying the who? The Celtics?
Probably. He sold on an average of today's 11. Yesterday was 11. He sold at 208, 208, 206, 206, and 209. So he's a net seller. All right.
Yeah. So I would zone in really heavily on this area of consolidation between September of 22, when you have like 2 months here of consolidation on Tesla. And so this, we know that aligns right in here about the $300 cycle level. I think, Tesla is clearly trading as a proxy to Elon. Elon we see as like potential success with this new administration. Whether or not it comes to fruition, I think that's TBD, right? So now we have to fast forward. So we know that this level, and can I pull this over? Boom. Right here. I don't know what Tesla's trading at right this second. So the top of this, 316.83. I'm going to move forward to see where we are. There it is. So it's very close. I think in this box right here, 317. So maybe slightly lower, not much. And I'm going to see if I can get any confluence. Yeah. So from this last push higher, what I did here, this is just one of those fib retracements. So this last push from 250 to 360.
That was insane. You didn't expect that. There's no way in hell.
No. I didn't expect that.
Because if I expected that, I would have bought some damn Tesla before that happened.
No, not that much. And I said, like, I want to be long Tesla into the end of the year. I closed that calendar at 7. I didn't expect this that quickly. So no, I did not. Definitely not. Can't say that I did. So I think it becomes more like 310 and into this area right here. I would be really interested if we saw 291. And I know it seems like that's a ways away. Look, that's $30.
That's not a lot away.
It's not a lot.
Not at all.
It's not a lot, right? So I think this orange box here, this is what we call like the golden zone, where you want to get like the golden pocket or the golden zone, really retracement. So between 50% of this last move to 61.8% back, that brings you between 307 and 295, right? I have something called like the golden pocket. That is just a very small pinpoint area. So if we lose 317, I think this becomes a reality. And we should be looking for just under 300 to like have 300 get undercut and potentially start basing out here. It doesn't mean I'm going to have orders sitting here. What I'm going to be looking for is more like something like this and then start to go, right? And so if you get down to 296, I think that's the area that you get really interested in. What you're looking for is a higher low after hitting that area. And it's going back up. If you're back over 307, you're at least likely going to 317. And then you have to deal with, can we get through the 340 level here? Does this make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. And I think it's more reasonable to try to, expect it to go to 290 versus the 400, right? I mean, just based on the run that it's had.
I mean, it's the same thing with Palantir, right? So at this point, it's kind of like, hey, what does a good looking pullback look like, right? Do I trade for that? No, maybe, right? Actually, I might trade for that. Today, we have this little gap and so I have to get really kind of myopic on the technicals at this point. So we call this a session gap right here. This is from Friday over the weekend gap. So it gapped up on Monday. Today, we filled this gap. So 325, if this holds on Tesla, it's pretty good. But if you start failing below 325, I think this scenario is real. And I think that you could trade. That's like $30. You could trade that. You could trade for that. And then looking something like this to come back up. But you have to have your if this, then that kind of trigger.
Okay. Can we do, so I want to do Hood, obviously, but I think we got to do Rocketlab because that one's just had earnings, and then we can go to Hood. I know Rocketlab, the move might be kind of volatile here, but based on this, what would you think technically?
So someone asked, aren't fair value gaps filled more than session gaps? No, I don't have a stat on that. I think that all gaps in general, whether you're talking about fair value or session or true or whatever you want to call it, they might exist. They don't always get filled at all. I think it's only when you start to trade for them, when you start to get trajectory towards them. And so Rocketlab is in something called a fair value gap, which is essentially where you get a big candle like this and you create this kind of gap in the market where it moves so fast the market didn't have an opportunity to decipher what the fair value was within that range. And so on the daily, that was 1560. If you fill something like this, and Palantir had something similar, and you close up in here, at that point, it's like, wow, okay, so you're probably going to continue higher if you close up into that fair value. And so you really kind of drop down to the next ones. And I have to drop down to a smaller time frame because they're so fast. And so that's what we're going to have to do on Rocketlab. It's $19. Boom, right there, 1890 on Rocketlab. So right now I want to stay long, and you have two essentially. So the second one's going to be up here. $20. $20.
Is a cup forming on Rocketlab?
Okay, so patterns. I don't know if you guys know. I'm not a pattern guy. Patterns fail more often than not. Most of the time they fail. So if it was essentially you're looking like this. So here are those two lines that we just did. Here's the thing. If you think a cup is forming on Rocketlab, then you need to be short, like definitively. But no, I don't think this is a cup. We're basically here. So this is the area. I think this is just such an under the radar one where like I would really defer to the fundamentals. So if Neutron's doing the deal, that's a fundamental thing that could change all these technicals. So remember, fundamentals like define the technicals. So if there's a fundamental shift, then the technicals can kind of like go to get re-evaluated, if you will. If we can get through this, so $20, call it over $20. This looks like it has a date with 20. If we start getting some closes over $20,
that's incredible. I mean, dude,
yeah, this is crazy.
That's not bad.
Dude, we're almost up 300% on our equity just from the other day.
Well, your equity, dude. I didn't buy into Rocketlab. You bought into
what?
It. I never got it. I mean, I have like 25 shares or something from a while ago, but
and you sold it?
No, I have it. But again, most of my money
I thought you were my road dog, man. We were like ride or die on this now.
No. This one I missed. Because look, if I wanted to get into Rocketlab, I would have to establish a real position, and I just never had the money to establish a real position. So.
Yeah. So I mean,
but I was thinking of selling puts on it, and I was trying to see what's the level to sell puts. Now I don't know. I don't know if I want to pay $17 on this thing.
No, I think that's fair, right? Because this is a very volatile stock. You got a couple comments about FOMO, I think that's very real, right? Like you need to just have a realistic idea. And I think like we can all go visit Matt and have a little meetup later or something. Because, it deserves at this point, I don't even have a lot, but it's enough now for me to be like, okay, I probably need to do some real like DD on this.
Yeah, like if you like if I actually wanted a position on this is a lot to ask for, paying up 500% from the lows, and you need to do real DD. And then the question is, do I have the energy to do so much?
Right. You do, right? You absolutely have to do real DD. And again, it goes back to that. It doesn't really matter that it's up 300% or whatever if they're executing and there's a real story, right? And that's what you're going to have to look for. But here, so the consolidation, I think, would probably just be this entire thing. If you wanted to undercut it, it'd be 25 and then 30 is what it would be. On the extension, but you have to get closes above $20. Then you're looking in between. This is about just under 25, just under 25. You'll pull back. You'll probably hold 22.50, and then you're looking for extensions way down the road to 30. If this holds this trajectory and there's something serious going on, otherwise, if it rejects and you get closes under 19, probably looking to retest the top of this somewhere on 17 initially. This box.
So I am trying to see the institutional ownership of Rocketlab. If anyone, it's 54%. Okay, so that's not horrible. It's above 50%. It's not crazy.
I mean, depends on the institution now.
That's true. All right, cool. So let's go to Hood, which we both been analyzing for a while.
Yeah, so Hood. So I had 33, which was the IPO price. We are essentially there.
Yeah,
more or less.
No, IPO was 38, not 33.
The trade.
Oh, okay.
The low trade on the IPO day.
Gotcha.
Right here. So I think you have to go back into this level. And so so you and I both, I believe, we're targeting that $40, right?
Roundabout, yeah.
Round number, and that's actually gonna fill into right here, right? And we'll call this a fair value just because there was an earnings gap here. So here's what I'm looking at, and I think that you get stuck into this area, and I mean,
what is that sound in the background?
Contractors. Hang on.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure.
Let me close the door.
No, you're good.
Oh,
I was like, someone shaving back there. You guys heard it, right? I was like, what's going on?
No. We're remodeling, dude.
Yeah, Robinhood goes to 30. Now you want to remodel the house, huh? Like
no, it's an office. Dude, you have no idea. They took out my internet the other day. Anyways, so I got to go on a weekly here. So this is where we are, and we're really close, right? So if we can get some closes over 33, this is just like the basic trajectory. And we can still do the same. So if this was the consolidation area here, so I have a lot of confluence. So 35 will stutter step, and then we want to see 32s hold, and then we should be on our way to near $40, man. I think that's it. I would actually even get this really close.
Bro. And we saw those October metrics yesterday. I mean, like,
yeah, actually, I was trying to figure out, okay, what time are they coming out? Because I took a trade, it opened up red, and then what a reversal today.
Yeah,
right? Like what a reversal today. So I think, if the week closes out like this, so when you see a candle like this is heavy indecision, right? And I think Palantir had one similar too, right? Just like that, right? A very small range on the week. The following week, we want to see either if we open above this week's, if we start the first 2 days, right? Monday, Tuesday afternoon. If by Tuesday afternoon on both for Palantir and for Robinhood, if we're not over this week's high, then I think we go into consolidation. And if we're below this week's low, then I think we need to be aware that it's probably going to have a pullback on both of these.
Right.
Based on this type of setup, right? So this is very heavy, indecisive type of what we call candlestick. So you know, and here's an example. So 2 times, so there are 2 weeks where you're very flat, right? And certain times, and I'll just drop this into a daily. So these are days, very tight range. And then boom, you get a flush. It could happen, but they might instantly get bought back up. Does that make sense? And that's what this looked like when you have a very tight week, and then you open up towards the highs and then instantly come back down. But the following week, oh, boom, you know, you're back in business. So just be aware, next week could be another one of these where it could be a range like this, if this makes sense, right? And eventually we'll get a week where we're outside of that kind of range. And it's that next one. It might be next week or whatever, but that level is at 3150, 3140. Basically this week's low. And, you know, ideally, if we're over 3430, call it 3450 just to be like cleaner. Then I think we're almost if we're going to 35 or even 40.
Yeah, and I mean,
and I don't think we need January 2027 calls anymore. I'm like, those are too far out.
Well, if Bitcoin we'll do Bitcoin later, but if that thing is headed to 100, I mean, Robinhood's head is probably closer to 50, I feel like. So, I mean,
well, there's this little known like statistic, like things that go to 85 typically go to what, to me, it's 120. So like if you ever saw a stock that's 100, like stock that's $85, it goes very quickly to 100 and then to 120. And vice versa. If you lose that, you go back to the high 80s. Whether it's 85 cents to 120, it's this really weird thing. Which is why for Palantir, if you get up there, it's like a foregone conclusion. And that kind of brings me to, can I do it or no?
Yeah, let's discuss your Square trade. So this is one, first of all, you had a viral tweet on.
I don't know what happened.
I guess there's a community that likes Square a lot.
I think, so you and I have been talking about this for a while, right? Like on and off. This is like, hey, this is a big, you know, we're on Robinhood, we're on Coinbase, MSTR, all that stuff. And it's like, okay, when Square was 60s, I think you and I were talking, it's like, hey, this could be a pretty under the radar, pretty under the radar crypto play.
We were talking about that. I did not buy it because fundamentally I don't love the company, but we were talking that it could.
Yeah. And honestly, like it's the same thing people were adding me about like PayPal, right? Like I'm not super into PayPal, but like, has it gone up? Yeah, it really has. But Square to me, it's for Cash App, right? And it's not like because I think that Cash App is going to be something where like you're actually sending money around. But you've been able to buy and sell and hold Bitcoin in Cash App for forever. It wasn't until recently that apparently like PayPal enables you to buy and sell crypto either. I had no idea that, or not Venmo. So maybe that's a plus for PayPal because I honestly didn't know that. But I did know about Square, and I think the market clearly knows about Square. And this setup.
By the way, put in the chat if you own Square. Who owns, or Block, whatever. Who owns it? Put in the chat.
So this is probably like one of the tightest consolidations like I've seen in a very long time. Very long time. Yeah, there you go. For it. Chris Patel grab.
All right, well, Chris, we'll do grab. But Chris is like, he's like in love with this company today.
Grab. What is grab?
It's a Uber of Singapore, or like Uber Eats of. It's one of those things.
Did you not see Maple Bear today?
No, but they grabbed earnings. Oh yeah, Instacart got hit, but grab good earnings apparently. Okay, so you think Square is breaking out to what? Back to like 110 or something?
No,
you think that's what the chart's showing.
It would be over that. If this goes, it's in the 130s.
Huh.
That's the wildest thing about this, right? And so you look right over here into this area. It's literally 130, which is a big percentage from here. It's 51% just on equity. If Block holds 81.22. Yeah. So like, I think so. I'm long And I initially went long some like nearer dated calls, nearer dated as in December. And then tomorrow CPI. So I ended up taking profit on those and on a lot of those, and then rolling to June calls that were, I just felt weird doing it because, like, first of all, my initial calls were up like 70%, like overnight. I'm like, okay. But 130 is in the cards, right? 130 is in the cards from here. It's going to be an extension. We have a clean session gap right here. So I say session gap when there's an area in the chart where there was absolutely no trade, a complete imbalance. That's at 134 right here, 134.82. So it's a hard imbalance. And we have, I mean, it's so hard to say this because, like, I mean, it's technically sound. It's a 3-year base.
It is a 3-year base. Yeah.
It's a 3-year base in the right space. If I did just like, oops, not wrong tool.
Kind of like SOFI to an extent.
Yeah. And so an extension of this, just a basic extension, just like we did with Palantir. Here.
Yeah.
Right there.
There you go.
135. So like I have a lot of confluence. I can do simple moving averages, like the basic ones. So
do you like the company though? Forget the technicals. Do you actually like Square? Because I don't like the company.
I know you don't like Jack, right?
No. Dude, did you hear they're shutting down Tidal the other day?
No, I don't even know what Tidal is, right?
It's a music app that he paid $300 million for with Square's shareholder capital because he likes Jay-Z. That's his friend.
Oh, good. Get
But
it out of
that's
there.
just
Clean
gross.
up the balance sheet.
That is insanity, bro. Like,
look. What I'm not saying is that Square's going to $200, right? So I can be a trader. I have to have a general thesis, right? My general thesis is simply this is an underrated crypto proxy at the moment.
I agree with that.
And it doesn't need much more than that to actually make this kind of move, quite frankly.
If Bitcoin goes to 100, they're going to be up another 30%.
It would be 120. Let's be fair. Like Bitcoin 85s, we have 120. And call it the January timeline, January, February, March.
Square's going. If Bitcoin goes to 120, Square's going higher. That 100%. I agree with you.
I mean, and I don't need much more than that, quite frankly. And as long as the underlying business is surviving and doing decent, and lo and behold, if there happens to be some random growth because they're cleaning up the balance sheet, I don't need a whole lot more than just that. So I think this gets to 115's initial first stop, right in here. This purple line, this is a 200-week simple moving average. If we zoom in here, remember we talk about our simple moving averages all the time. I have a blue, a white, and a red, and you might not be able to see. Yeah. Okay. Blue, white, and a red. Those are all really tight right here. 20s, the 20 simple moving average. This is the white is over, right? So I'll just make it really. So it's over the red, right? Which is the 200-day. This I'm going to highlight here is a 50-day simple moving average. Just now crossing here. Not that it matters a whole lot. I don't do the cross stuff, but what I do say is that when the distance between these simple moving averages is tight, and then we start to see the distance between them expand. What's happening right now? The distance is expanding between these. That's when you get these parabolic type moves. And so we've already got one beginning. If we get another, look, you're going to have whatever headline technical chartists be like, oh, you have a golden cross, right? On Square, which is the 50-day crosses over the 200-day. That's true, right? I don't think it's that big of a deal. So we're not running out because of that. But I do think it's in the right space and it has the right catalyst.
So, I mean,
I think this is here's to be super precision, 93.19. So if you see Square over 93.19, I think this is a foregone conclusion in the 120s. Because you have a lot of this overhead that really needs to get filled in.
Yeah,
right here. And I'm in this session gap.
They didn't have a bad earnings. It's not like their earnings were bad. So
no, and that's the thing. It's like you miss on earnings, the stock immediately goes up. I'm like, that's usually also the sign of like, okay, the bottom is likely in.
All right. Well, there you go.
So that's where this is a big. It's wound tight. It's like a sleeping monster potentially. So.
All right. So Bitcoin going up. Square is your underrated play in terms of it continuing to get some.
Yeah, ETH for peace. That was my first question too. I was like, who the frick uses Square? But like some of our people, like employees, like they're like, hey, did you get any text this week from family and friends? Do you own any Bitcoin?
No, but I had to explain to
my brother texted me this morning. My brother texted me this morning. Oh my God. I'm like, this is where I start to get weird. It's like, what's up, bro? I'm paying that we still have our Bitcoin, like praying emojis. Like, oh my God, dude. So that might be a little warning potentially. But yeah, this is wound incredibly tight. I have a lot of confluence. This is what we call squeezing on literally every single time frame that's out there. And I think if there are people that miss the MSTR, miss Robinhood, miss Tesla, miss Coinbase, miss Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is where they go.
Yeah. All right. That is fair. Alex says, Jason, if I get burned on Square again, will you reimburse the losses? He will not, because this is not financial advice and you have to make
No. And so like this is what I'm going to say is this is not high conviction. I have no high conviction ever on trades. So I find a lot of trades. It's regular trade. It's just one more trade that like it might be high conviction. They're all the same conviction. I believe it. I'm going to put my regular allocation towards it. It's not going to be something where I'm going to, go refinance a house on. No, it's just a normal, one more really good looking setup. Okay, let's move on.
Can we do SoFi?
Dude.
This is fun.
What was your trade on this? Your trade was to 15, like $10, $15 debit spreads, or what was it?
It was the 1520s. There was a
1520s. You're almost there.
Yeah, it's almost there. And I got them dude, I should have bought another 100. I had a feeling of buying another 100, but I didn't. 35 cents I paid for them. And they're worth like
for what expiration?
January 2026. And I was afraid to do it because when SoFi was 7, when I did the trade, I was like, January is only a year away. To say that they're going to triple, but it's in that channel as we talked about many times on the show, and now it's breaking out.
Well, I mean the June ones or whatever that we saw, like it immediately go out. Like those, actually, I believe they've rolled out. Oh my God.
I also think when Trump won the financial, I mean, you saw JP Morgan up 10% the day after.
I was long JP Morgan that day, man.
Of course.
Let me tell you.
Of course.
I was long that day.
Okay, so do you think SoFi has a path to 20 by the end of the year? I guess is the question, and we'll go from there.
By next year.
Okay, so not this year.
I mean, there's not a lot of time left this year.
I mean, we got a month and a half left, bro.
We got a month and a half.
Got some time, bro.
So I'm looking over here because I have my options chains and statistics up. Ivy is still not that. It's okay. Dude, admit. Are we doing this again? Really?
On what? What do you mean?
SoFi.
You're looking.
So I've not sold a single share.
Okay.
You're in options. I've sold options, but 281,000 calls, 77,000 puts.
Wow.
Normally, so when I look at flow, and I say flow like option buys and sells, there are certain things where like if they're not buying a lot of time, it's not super, significant, right? Or if they're not going really far out of the money, it's really not that significant. And I can see like, are they hitting at the bid or the ask? Like, are they buying or selling net? Well,
I mean, dude, I don't think this thing's going back to 7. Like it could pull back to 10 or 11, but I think the 7s are gone. And if Anthony Noto executes over the next 3 quarters, I think they're going to do well. And they've got the rate cuts as a tailwind as well.
I think it's 25.
You think it's 25? Well, Noto gets paid $500 million in PSUs if it gets to 25 by June of 2026, I believe. Which is another reason I took the $20 spread, because I was like, all right, by January, we got to be close to 25 if Noto wants to get paid, right?
I might take your $20 spread and see you a January 2027, 2025, $25 call straight up.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Now, granted, we're assuming the street values it more than a bank. That's always been the debate, right?
Yeah. But so like on that strike, and I didn't see it till just now. So when I was just talking about option order flow and things like that,
1/3 of his tranche is unlocked. 45 is when all of it. Okay, so he gets like 200 million or 180.
45. Pull
At
up your
45,
Robinhood
he
really
gets the
quick.
whole.
Pull up your Robinhood really quick. Your phone.
Okay.
Yeah. Go to the January 15th, 2027 option series, all the way farthest out. And then the $25 strike, and look at the volume. Volume means how many were traded today.
Wow.
And the last time we saw something like this, and I didn't see this till we did it the last time just like this. It was the 1250 strike. You remember that?
Yes. Yeah. This is 4,000 contracts guide that were traded.
Yeah. So that's
By the way, I think that was added. That 25 strike was added today.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They added the strike and they instantly ran into it.
SoFi has some gamblers, bro. Goodness.
So where he said, oh, there you go, volume. So open interest 0 because it was added today. Today's the first day of trade, instantly 4,400. And so this is as much time that you can buy. Usually when you see flow, we see things like this. And again, I don't follow flow, but what I do is I pay attention if there's something that's striking like that. And then can I get the chart to support that? In this case, yes, I can. So do you want to go back to the technicals? I can see this is where we are, right? So this is that same kind of area, similar to Robinhood, but this is a little bit further along. So this was that low IPO trading price here at $10. So I think that's done. This was that kind of box that we were sitting in here. I think this is a rate story. Tomorrow's going to be a big deal for these. I don't think that you see 10 to your point either. I think at worst it'd be like 11 something, but it might be quick and dirty. And I think, here's what we do and so I just drawn all those lines in the boxes. This same thing, this extension brings you into this $20 area here. Is 1995 for that first fair value, but 1, 2, 3. If you're going for this a fourth time, I do not.
You're bullish.
The chart is really bullish.
And here's the thing, Noto and the team would have to really mess up the next couple quarters to invalidate the fundamental story. And they're growing 30%. I mean, when I do this stuff with you, I take it way out there. I don't do that often. So 13 here. So this was that extension from here to here. So now I want to see some kind of pullback. I'm gonna look to add in that $13 range. It is what it is, man. Again, it's just the charts. Statistically, probability wise, I can take this. And I hate saying stuff like this. I hate it. I really don't like to. But hey, look, sometimes that's the environment we're in, right? So this is the fair value, 22s. And you're saying 22 is fair value is because of the SPAC price, essentially?
No. So like fair value in terms of.
Got you.
Yeah, technical fair value. So there's remember that big flush moment, whatever's going on here in this area, there's what we call fair value gap right in here. Right. So this area, if you see it over 18, you're going to 22 to fill this, call it fair value. There's technically a session gap. This is stupid, dude.
It's also been depressed for 3 long years of nothing on this thing. So, I mean, Also, this, as Rango says right here, their loan platform is growing rapidly. 1/3 of Upstart's business. Upstart's market cap. What's Upstart? Which is another crazy number.
Yeah, dude, Upstart and Affirm both doing really good.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's an argument.
I mean, these are all in the same kind of setups. We're like, this is that small medium cap type area. Look, IWM super bullish still. Think we get this pullback, we get through CPI, and then we can be on our merry way. Look, IWM was just a couple points away from all-time highs, and everybody was like, that's never gonna happen. Yeah, dude, this is this is where we are, right? So
can we do Affirm? Can we actually do Affirm?
Yeah, dude.
Wait, why are you yelling? Why? What are you?
Because
you're excited about Affirm? Is that why?
It looks really good, also.
So all of fintech is basically getting some love right now. Basically,
for once, let's say all of fintech has been depressed for a very long time. This is almost like but even more so than, I don't know if you know IGV, the software sector, right? So software sector finally, like a lot of headlines today, finally software outperforming semis. Hasn't happened in forever. And it's like that cycle, right? But when they do, it gets wild. This is 95, dude.
Affirm, you think it's going to 95?
Dude, I'm going to get so much shit from your people being like sending out these stupid things. I'm just saying what the chart, I'm just reiterating.
I mean, hold on. We are in a bull market at the end of the day, and things can get pretty wild in a bull market. So, I mean, if the technicals are lining up and the fundamentals are there, Trump gets into office, pro-growth policies, lower taxes.
So yeah, let's be fair. So level to level, one step at a time, we're going to see it's 76 and then eventually into that just under 100, pull it back. If a firm is holding 76, and I know it's only 56 or 58 right now, but at a certain point, if it's holding that, it's back in this area. I'm just shaking this because I don't want to say the number, but that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Oh, also, one last catalyst on SoFi, then we'll move on. SoFi, if Trump gets in office and he gets rid of some of the banking crypto regulations, like if you're a bank charter, you can't sell crypto. If he gets rid of that, SoFi gets crypto back, and then Bitcoin potentially is a catalyst.
Yeah, dude. So this is a monthly chart on a firm, right? So a monthly chart, you can see this pretty clean. It's as simple as if we break over this 53, right? The way that this, without any of these lines, right? If you get over here, this candle, then you need to go to the next higher candle wick, which is right there. That's a lot of room.
Oh, that's right.
And that's without going crazy, right? Like that's just, it is what it is. My level kind of undercut that, but yeah, this is a pretty bullish. See, this is a cup and this was a handle. That's what I was saying. If you thought Rocketlab was a cup and handle, this is your cup, this is your handle, and it's not, do you see it?
Yeah.
You do. So like if you're at the top, you kind of want to be short because it gets steamy before it goes. Right. And then that's it. Right. So, and then, so like if I were to do this, I'm a great artist, right? Realistically, just of this area, it still takes me to that 80-ish level right in here.
Yeah.
So still around 71st and then into the mid 80s.
And look, they said on their earnings, they're 3 quarters away from being profitable. I thought they would be profitable by the end of the year. So there's a little bit more time, but rate cuts are going to increase a massive amount of users for them. They can accept more people now that rates are low. And so there's an argument that they may be surprised on profitability, and that takes them there too. They could have been sandbagging the profitability.
Dude, going full Bob Ross. Yeah, I mean, I work hard on those, dude.
Love it. Okay, so let's move on.
We have our other patterns. You don't know. Yeah, this is the Triceratops.
Oh, that's cute.
Right? When you.
Oh, that is a Triceratops. There you go.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, can we do one that's not doing as well right now before we get? I want to do a lot of the crypto names. But can we do Enphase?
Well, I think it's all the election trades, right? So
I agree, but I'm getting a lot of texts on, is this one the right time to start selling puts on? And I'm curious, technically, your thoughts here.
no.
Why?
So it's a lot of Momo right now. You want to start? Well, I mean, you could potentially. So let's do this. I don't know enough. Like, I'm not in the weeds here. So every time we're just retracing back to prior consolidation levels. And so this is that last consolidation area at $60. This is a big level. But the problem I have is that this range is large. It's 60 to 35.
That's nasty.
Let's say you sell a $60 put and it breaks this range and you go into the lower end, you're going to be in the water.
That's not fun, bro. We already know Trump doesn't care about solar.
I bought ENPH at $20 back in the day, like right in here. I do remember that, but I sold it right here too. So I mean, I don't know. I sold it over here, and I didn't capture any of that, to be honest. But I do think you could do some short. So the way I do it when I'm buying the stock. I think you had a really thorough tweet today too about selling some hood puts. So I do, like you're saying, like when I'm buying the stock anyways, I'd be happy to buy more there. And I actually do it pretty short dated. I like within 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks out. And so if I get assigned, that's fine. I can immediately like do some protection, or I can immediately sell some in the money calls if I want to get out, or I can just close the position. But I don't do it personally. I mean, TJ is the master at this, right? So like he'd probably roll out and down.
He just got rid of his whole end phase position and took the L and tax loss harvested it. So he's out completely. Yeah.
I mean, so that's one where like, this is scary. I mean, every day, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I was
5.
surprised. It was down another 5% today. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah. These are 5% days.
That is insanity. Every single
day. It's a 10%, 8% day, a 6% day. Yeah, these are massive days. It looks small, 7% day.
Dude. On a red every day.
I mean, so the Momo is not stopping yet. What I would like to see if I'm going to sell puts, I would need to see at least a sub 1% day. So first 1% day or less, okay, do it, right? But if it doesn't, like immediately continue on, because you could take advantage of this very near dated. But if it goes against you, I would exit stage left quickly, because below 56, this is going to get real ugly real fast.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to
realize how rough this chart looks. This is as bad as Moderna, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Remember Moderna? We saved that one. Wasn't along.
Okay, so I want to do grab for Chris, but before grab, we got to do Celsius, because Celsius also is not.
Dude, so I sold my Celsius puts. Now I'm underwater. I'm not really doing anything with it, but it's not like massive. Yeah, this was my area that I would want to buy. I wanted to buy or sell puts right in here. So it's below
27 roundabout
31. Okay. So I'd sold those like $35 puts right around here, and I sold $30 puts. I didn't get assigned the $30 puts. I did get assigned the 35s, which gave me a cost base of about $30.30, give or take. But it's now that so this was that volume shelf. So remember, on the right-hand side of my screen, this is volume by price. So there's not a lot of volume down here. It's not until 21s. So this is kind of rough. What I will say, I don't use RSI a whole lot, but there's some definite bullish divergence here. I don't know if you know what that is. I'm not doing a technical class here, but when you use oscillators and RSIs, the only thing I would ever say that's relevant is if your stock is putting lower lows in, but your oscillators are not. So it's still giving me some bullish divergence here. That could be like a potential bounces in. This is rough though. It's really rough. And I went to 7-Eleven today and they didn't have my flavors either. So I was a little upset. and they were 2 for $4.50 when they're normally like 3 for $9 or something like that. So I don't know what's going on.
Dude,
but
if this growth, and also Monster said the consumer's not drinking energy as much, that they got hit 5% on their earnings. I mean, I don't know, bro. Story doesn't look amazing right here.
Yeah. So here's where I'm at. I'm already in. If I were to average down, I have to have a new reason. Either I pull the ripcord, take the L, right? Or I have what we call like a re-trigger, whether it's a fundamental trigger or fundamental net new reason to get long, something changes in the fundamental story, or I have a technical reason to get long. And I don't have that yet. So today, it was down, but this is looking like it's gonna get bouncy. Trading wise, this is an interesting setup, I will say.
Dude, there's no way Costco has them for $150 a case. It has to be $150 a bottle. There's no way.
Yeah.
It has to be $150 a bottle. $150 a case is like, that's 6 for $150. There's no way. That'd be wild if that's true.
Yeah, I went to the Costco Business Center. That's the place to go for if you want drinks. They have crazy stuff. So 27.
Oh, he was joking. Okay, I was like, "There's no way, bro."
Yeah. Crazy. So, anyways, my point was they're getting cheaper. So I think this is setting up for a bit of a bounce. But I have to have, if you have a net new open on Celsius, if you have a net new open above 27.30. I think you could see a bounce to here, right into this area. But like if that bounce doesn't hold over 28.50, then we're going to be in trouble. So what this looks like is if I get an open up here, I think it bounces to something like this. And then I need to see it come down and lock in a higher low and then make a new high. And then next higher low, if it shows up like this, then I will probably add, and that would be a trigger for me. I know it's a lot, 1, 2, 3, but it would look like this.
Okay.
That would be a new one, and I would probably add right around here if I get that. But if it doesn't happen, then I'm gonna be gonzo.
So if this just ends up being at 21, you're gone. You're out the position.
No. So like I don't, when I exit, what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for a lower high to start to fail. I would be gone around 28. Assuming this bounces a little bit. If this doesn't trigger for me again, I'm going to be out of here for if it loses 28 on the next bounce. On the next bounce, let's say it goes higher. If it can't hold 28, I'm out. And that's gonna net me like a $3 loss or $2 loss. So whatever.
Okay. Makes sense. All right, let's do a quick one and then we'll get to a lot of other crypto stuff. Grab. This is a
so
Singapore.
Can Chris tell me, or do you know, I've never heard of this ticker at all.
I've known about it because my uncle's in Singapore. But
so first of all, this is a SPAC, right? Just by looking at this.
I think they might have SPAC'd potentially.
They have existing warrants, is what I'm seeing.
Yes, it is a SPAC, correct. 2021. Yep, you're right. SPAC.
It's not de-SPAC'd yet.
It is not. No. I mean, yeah, no, it has. This is 2021, bro. This is wild.
Yeah, but there's still warrants out.
Oh, if that's the qualification to de-SPAC, then
right. Yeah. So warrants are 50 cents that give you the ability to buy it at 10, right?
Chris says it is de-SPAC.
Okay, but there are warrants for sure. They're
up 11% today, and that's why Chris is getting interested in what is exciting about them. To my understanding, everyone in Singapore calls a Grab. That's like
that's right.
Their number one form of transportation and grocery delivery, all that stuff. Uber Eats for Singapore, and maybe more Southeast Asia.
Rides, pay, financial services.
It's like a super app. It feels like for that area.
Yes, insurance, payment processing, rides, and TaskRabbit.
Their
merchants?
market cap is 20 billion, so they do a lot of stuff. They SPAC'd at 40 billion, so they are down from that.
And they make money with ads?
I feel like they make money in a lot of ways, seems like.
It is a super app, yeah. Definitely. I think these are tough.
They partner with Chubb Insurance. Huh. And it's Southeast Asia, not just Singapore. So
yeah,
technical, are you getting any gist of this? I mean, 11% day is great. It's been consolidating, it looks like, right, for the past couple of years.
Yeah. I'm hesitant on this. I don't know. So I don't know it that well. So like, yeah, if it comes in and holds $4, like if you see it holding that $4, I'll just stick with the technicals. I'll just stay in my lane right now. Right. So is this even liquid?
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, the volume on this bad boy is 148 million today. Average volume is closer to, I think, 20 million. Looks like there's a market for this stock.
Yeah. Are those all Chris's orders though? Because I'm like, Chris, is that all your April 2025 550 calls? Are those yours?
Just from the technicals, we can move on to this because I know you don't know too much, but do you see anything there that you like?
No, so I look at the flow, if there's market and stuff like that. I see the technicals here. Clearly there's something going on. Somebody is liking this. It's looking like 6, right? If you get an extension. So on a penny stock, that's not horrible. It's Asian. So it's 20% right now, upside ish. And that could happen quickly. I just don't know. What was the other, like that Korean stock that was like the Amazon of Korea, or what was it called? Coupang.
I don't think it's Korea, but oh yeah, Coupang. No, I think you're right. I think it's Coupang. Yeah.
So like, I think like Coupang is probably a good company, but the stock I don't believe acts that well. But so here, yeah, you're looking 5.25, and you want to hold it. You want to see it hold 5, then you should see 6 next, and then potentially 6 and 680. But not over.
By the way, guys, Rivian is up 10% on a new joint venture with a total deal size of up to $6 billion.
A new one?
Is this with Volkswagen? Is this the same one? Hold on.
Volkswagen.
Yeah, this is coming out just now, 408. But this is the same thing we heard from a while ago.
Yeah, is it a like reiterating?
I guess it's being reiterated. Yeah. Okay. So
honestly, I thought Rivian was going to be down a lot more than it is. I thought this thing was going to get destroyed. So it's actually shocking to me that it's not.
Okay, so we'll talk about Rivian in a second. But ultimately on Grab, you think 6 on if they get extended.
Technically. I'll just be really careful about dilution with the warrants.
Okay. And outside of that, the company itself, you've had 2 minutes to learn about it. Is it interesting at all? Or
no, I think it's confusing.
It definitely is a little confusing as well.
I think it's confusing for American investors. This is Coupang, right? I don't think it's confusing for us, but I think that it might be confusing for the U.S. stock market.
That is fair. Okay. I'm sure, guys, Chris will be doing some more DD on that. And if so, he'll probably be putting out some more info on that one.
Chris has a new stock then.
Chris might have a new stock.
I have a new stock today. Just reported.
Rocket.
No, Rackspace.
Oh, sorry.
So Rackspace, this is a penny stock. So this is data center. You remember my Equinix that you thought was a gym?
Yeah.
But it's not a gym. It's a large data center. Here's that. Yeah. So here's that chart. Rackspace is the real deal. They just reported. It's a little bit better. Income looks like it might be looking like 10-something% up, but another big consolidation. Probably AI, not probably, definitely benefit from AI, because you buy your Dell, you buy your Supermicro, and if it doesn't go into Equinox, it goes into Rackspace.
Okay, can we do a new name that has come back after a while? Maybe in the bull market, it sees more love. ARK. Can we take a look at ARK?
Oh, that thing looks crazy. I'm not in my CCL, Chris, but I think that you're probably good.
Oh, you're out of CCL? Okay, cool.
Yeah, and CLH. Honestly, because I was like, I wanted the ETHU and the 2x leverage Ethereum, the 2x leverage Coinbase. I took that. Ended up being okay. It's not that this is bad, but I was pretty sure about the timing on the Ethereum, which, by the way, I think is still very important, and continue. So what was it? Oh, ARK.
ARK. Any excitement to get back into ARK?
I mean, I think that this chart looks like crap, right? So like, I think that she's got Roku, right?
Yeah.
What are her top?
Roku, Tesla, Robinhood, Palantir, Shopify is kind of the top. Coinbase as well.
Shopify. I mean, she's in the right spaces. As long as she's not, so they trade a lot. I say she, it's they. As long as they're not like buying more, like, I don't know, was it Chegg, right? Who reports more soon? Or like if they're not you know what I'm saying? Like if they're not like doubling down on some weird stuff and they just stay where they are, I think those stocks in their own right probably do really well. But so that said, yeah, it's really close, right? So I think this is mid to high 60s and then see what happens from there.
Okay.
So mid to high 60s, essentially I'm getting to here. So 66, and that's that first stop. So you're clearing this massive consolidation. Again, it's the same. This is the same kind of setup. It's just like, where are the catalysts? Is new money coming in, and does it get allocated to Kathy's fund? Potentially.
It does look like Square a little bit.
Yeah, she's got Square now.
She has a ton of Square. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can do it this way, or you can, what is it? Sorry, I do these 2x leveraged ones. TARK. Or you can, go in there. I think Kathy's good for a lot of stuff, but like if you were to go into the fund and say, hey, like these are the ones I like, then I can do my own allocation towards them and see how that goes. But yeah, it's a big break over 54, no question. So it's got to hold that level right in here. It's a big deal break. 64 should be in the cards sooner than later.
Okay, so before we do the Coinbases and MicroStrategies of the world, I think let's do 10 minutes on Bitcoin and what you're looking at there.
10 minminutes.
I mean, I imagine you have a lot to say. We could do it in 5 minutes, but I feel like
I have very little to say. I think I said it. Yeah, man. I think it's a foregone conclusion. It's happening. What do I care, right? I give 0 Fs because it's happening. I just believe it. Everything we said has come true. I think last time here, but do you chase it here? Here's what I would say. I think it's super important. How long do you say you've been trading, Amit?
Realistically, 3 years.
Okay, so you came in then on the original Trump pump, no?
2019-ish. So yeah, roundabout.
So the original Trump pump, which I think, we saw a lot of the same. And during that time, I think we saw Tesla doing something very similar. Also, we saw Tesla taking turns with Amazon.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Amazon does another one, right? So Amazon, by the way, very large breakout. I think you really need to pay attention to that. Not near term, but like once Bezos is out of the way, which I think is sooner than later, she goes. But, I think that there are moments in this market that everything else is just kind of like going to drop their jaw and be like, can't move, right? Yesterday, we saw that heavily with all the crypto proxy plays, crypto itself just absolutely booming, Tesla absolutely booming, and nothing else was really doing much at all. And then today we start to see some of those pull back, and then the rest of the market kind of gets a little bit love. And that's when you look at like your Microsofts, your Amazons start to get a little bit of love, and the market kind of like takes turns, right? So to be clear, what we're not seeing like massive outflows. I think that's important. When you see, if we're in a bull market, which we are, we're not seeing like massive outflows. Tomorrow we do have CPI, so that could be a little bit of a stutter step. We'll have to see how that pans out. But yeah, I think this is a foregone conclusion. I think you're going to get really close to 100K, but you might not hit it. I think 98,554, not to be specific, but $98,554. There it is. So that's where I am, and that's just this recent consolidation.
But didn't you say everything that goes from 85 goes to 120?
Yeah, first. So first 98.54, and then it's 1,200. It's $123,331.
That would be fun. Would you sell? Would you sell at 120?
No. Why?
I'm just asking. Would you? I'm just curious. Would you sell?
I'm done selling, man. Dude, we talked about this the first time. Like the worst things I ever done is like sold my Bitcoin, man. Yeah,
that's true. I feel like anyone who's ever sold it has regretted it at this point.
Yeah,
to an extent.
Yeah, I really. So that's this consolidation one too. I could probably do this another way and get to the same exact situation and be like, just this consolidation. Yep, boom, exactly the same. $122-ish thousand. Like Q1, Q2 next year, still the same time frame. So I think as long as we're holding, so here 86s, that's ideal. I don't want to see a massive pullback, but even if we do, I still think it's okay. This trajectory is sound. It's a bit overheated at the moment. So if I drop this down, it's 86,165 right in here. So that was that. So 86,165 is a 50% extension of this consolidation area, which is highlighted in gray. So 50% of this area is right there. It's like that one that's 86,165. Ideally, that holds. It's already been tested once. You might not be able to see these little green lines. Let me see if I can make them a little bit brighter. Here, maybe bigger. So this area here is that area of contention. Oddly enough, it's like these measured moves, right? So 89,940. If you're over 89,940, I think we're good. The way that crypto typically runs right now, I feel like tomorrow could even be a down day, possibly open up, maybe red even again on Thursday. But Friday, it loves to run. So sometime mid-Thursday day, we typically gear up for the next move over the weekend and pull back a little bit on Sunday, finish it off Monday, Tuesday, and then rinse and repeat. So I think that's essentially the trajectory that we're in. So here's where we are. This is the box. We'd like to see it stay in this box over 86s. If it gets a little bit lower, that's fine. Below that, you're looking at 82 for a real retest. And then I think that would be it personally.
Okay, so based on that, can we do some rapid fire crypto names, and then we'll get back to just regular stocks for like 10 minutes. Coinbase.
I get to pick.
Or we can do whatever this thing is, Avalanche.
So this is available on Robinhood, but pretty heavy reversal. This is one of those like layer one hyperscale, fastest blockchain measured by time to finality. Probably the most underrated layer one crypto in my mind. So, all right, moving on. Now we want to go Coinbase. And
you called this one. This one you've done very well on.
Coinbase or Avalanche?
Coinbase.
Oh, okay. Well, both. But yeah, so we're at targets here. This was 320 on Coinbase. I think, so the thing about Coinbase right now, while yes, my initial like targets are here, which again at 165 calling like looking for this kind of move is kind of wild, right? Initially it was like 250s, 275, and then boom, you get this extension up to that like full target 320s. I just, with this new regime, possible deregulation, that's been an overhang for Coinbase and Robinhood for a very long time, right? And I think that's like kind of what we're seeing is that kind of like that weight being lifted. So this is in the 4s, 50s.
I think so too.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we sound crazy, right? I don't know. I feel like I don't want to give anybody FOMO. Like I hate doing that.
First of all, Coinbase and Robinhood are top 20 apps in the country right now. And if you get rid of Gensler, I mean,
did you see my post about Cash App? Like trying to like, it was over Coinbase for a day yesterday. I was like, whoa, crazy.
Let me check right now. So in finance right now, currently, Hood is still number 1. Coinbase is number 2.
Yeah. Yeah. As of today, yesterday, Cash App was number 2. Believe it or not, wild. So anyways, I think, so Coinbase, it's very hard to press this bet, I would say. I would like it. Like I just kind of walk through that timeline, week by week timeline. It's usually Thursdays. They're heavy upside flow, 235,000 to 98,000 calls, or puts, initially, what are they doing? Oh, okay. So somebody rolled up. Somebody had February 2025 $230 calls. They rolled those all the way up today, 22,000 of them in a single order. They rolled the 230 calls up to the 320 calls. That's what that is this morning, around the lunch hour.
For what? For Coinbase?
Yeah, so a single trader order 22,000 lot. So they already had those $230 calls for February. They rolled them up to at the money. So that's a good example of how to manage a deep in the money trade. Somebody just did this single trader order, sold their, they sold all of their 230 calls and they bought, boom, at the money. And they did that perfectly because that 230 call expiration or delta was 84 delta. You don't want to be over 80 delta. So they did that, boom, flipped to the 50 delta at the money. They're making the same bet, just putting some money. They took all their principal out and they're rolling it. It's a double. I don't see a whole lot more than that. That's a big trader. I do think it's in the 4s, potentially 450 if we get this extension. They're getting really bullish. So like if we get this close over this area, like we are, I mean, it's in this here, 470s.
Gotcha. Okay, can we do Clean Spark?
Yeah. So what was the issue with their equity?
It's a nothing burger. It's done.
It was an oopsie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this is probably 20s. It's the same thing. I think you're okay. I think they're all tradable. I don't want to be investing in any of these. So I think tradable 20s, likely, very likely, in the next few weeks, I'd assume. Yeah.
I mean, all the miners, even Mara with the double miss today, but if Bitcoin goes up, all the miners are gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, this is still like I'm looking like November's still like of all the miners, I'd probably defer to this, even though I don't like any miners. But I would probably defer to this one. Yeah, I mean Mara too. Like Mara, I heard something about like they're taking their money and potentially buying Bitcoin with that, and maybe they want to be, MSTR 2.0. If they do something like that, that could be interesting. Because that's always been the miners' issue, right? They're not great with, allocating the capital. So if you have a miner that turns that tide and kind of changes that story, yeah. You want to do ADA?
Yeah, let's do Cardano.
So I think Cardano. Do you guys know Algo?
No.
Algorand? No.
Oh, Algorand. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, I would go there too, for sure. Not really ready, but all of this is like rising tide, right? Lifts all boats at a certain point. You're close. You see Doge, dude.
Dude, that benefits Robinhood the most.
Dude, what is going on with that? But yeah, I somebody asked me like what I do. I was like, yeah, I just sold it, man.
I had it at 7 cents this year too. I sold it at like 9 cents or whatever earlier this year.
It's a win. I think Cardano, your 45 is a good level right here. That's you're over. So at this point, you want to have cents. It can come down just under 50 potentially. These are altcoins. This is another like layer one, but you want to see it hold 50 cents really. And when you look into this stuff, so you want to look at the Bitcoin dominance. So yeah, so you go ADA, BTC. This is a pairs chart, right? So is Cardano outperforming Bitcoin? This you're starting to see, a little bit of outperformance on this one. So this is your chart, really. When you see this outperformance really happening, you're about to kick off over this level, whatever this level is. There's a lot of zeros, so it's hard for me to write out. You're very close. Give it a couple more shots, and then you're probably good to go. I think Algo is probably another one. Another like underrated. So I'm I don't ever do tokens. I don't do Doge, like stuff like that. Like, you want to do that, fine. But this one is probably at an even better spot. Potential underrated.
And you think it is altcoin season now?
Well, yeah, that's why I say that. Like, to me, I think that crypto's happening. Look at Doge going to 40 right now. Crypto's happening. And so like the Bitcoin move is like I said, it's happening. And what we're looking for is that Bitcoin dominance in your altcoins to kind of wane, right? So if it's I'll go to Bitcoin, this is a chart of like the comparison, right? So Bitcoin's been significantly outperforming, but if you start to see these, because we know that the total crypto cap is booming. This is total crypto market cap, 3 trillion almost. And so as this starts to expand, remember we want to see Bitcoin dominance overall start to wane. We want to see total crypto cap continue to grind higher. This is clearly grinding higher. I think Bitcoin is happening, right? And so the question to me is like, does Bitcoin, while Bitcoin's happening, because it's going to happen, does it happen at the same pace, or does it start to share the love, right? Does the love get spread around a little bit? And the first one to go, right, to me is Ethereum. So I think you have to be looking at this one first if you want to position for the like lower tier layer ones, and then potentially your utilities or your protocols, then you can. But to me, my own rule to keep me out of a lot of trouble, I strictly focus on hyperscale layer one. Whether or not you know what that is fine. I don't need to get in the weeds. But I think, this is good. This is happening over this level. Like we should be, we're seeing this, right? So BTC to ETH.
ETH also doing good, right?
Yeah. So like, here's our dominance chart. Am I looking at this wrong? Yeah. So it's still kind of there. So we want to see this turn the corner. This is doing good. The last couple of days we had much larger outperformance. I think Solana, if you don't know, stay here.
Solana's it's up 30% over the past week.
Yeah. Stay here. You're going to be a new all-time high soon. Yeah, Black Mama, Bitcoin dominance. So if you're going to be looking at an altcoin or a different something other than Bitcoin, you want to compare the Bitcoin dominance. So like compare that chart to Bitcoin itself. Either back to 4,000. Yeah, no, I think like for like Ethereum, I think it'd be like new highs. But yeah, so Ethereum specifically, I'll give you this. So I think this one takes a little bit of a breather soon, not yet. Right in this area, 38, just under 4K. So I think you fill into this area like 37s. I think you would trim around that level. Eventually, so like something like this. Eventually, you might stall out, and then you'll get another like that, and this would be okay. You're still continuing to go. But yeah, I think this happens. But I think you need don't be. It's going straight. It's probably going to be right under 4K. It'll stall out for a little bit, and eventually you're going to get this kind of a break.
Okay, so Jason, I have to be out in 10 minutes, so we're going to do rapid fire now.
Yeah, do it.
Some of these other names. But before that, please make sure everybody to follow Jason on Twitter, his Discord, private courses, all of that stuff. If you really want to get into the weeds of training or trading, you can do some training with Jason. So you can check out all of his links on his.
Yeah, shout out to any of you guys who are in the mastermind. We had our first class last night. We got another one up tomorrow. That's like massive value. If you missed it, sorry, we'll have another one way later. But yeah, or if any of you guys are in there, let them know if you are enjoying it so far. I think Doge, you're cool. Just kind of like chill on this. This needs a breather. You're right at that target, about 45.
All right,
Okay,
rapid fire. Mercado Libre, Melly.
So earnings missed, but always gets bought up. I think as long as you're holding 1796, then yeah, you go into all-time highs. This would be a beautiful consolidation, something like that. Call this long-term chart. Call it 2,500 plus.
Okay, Meta.
I like here. They got an issue today. Snapchat headline or a TikTok headline not coming through. We are in this prior consolidation. Call it here. Breakout, right? So right now we're in the middle of it. This was that consolidation here. I think this is going over 600. Yeah, but we need to get over 610 quickly. We almost did it this morning. We reversed pretty quickly. 1, 2, 3. Next shot, I think we crack. I think we see 650.
Yeah, they did have an activist investor come in today, which I was confused
Meta?
why. Yeah, they had a
Or
value act or something, took $1 billion stake. So that was
I like Meta a lot.
Okay,
Did a good shot this morning, but it'll happen.
Honest.
Oh.
HNST.
HNST?
Yeah.
Is this the T? No.
They sell baby products.
Short it because I have a baby. I've never bought their stuff.
They're up 10%, right? Yeah, 10.4% right now. $480 million company. It's a small cap.
Not ready.
She's
not ready. It's at the highs. I don't see this as ready. 1, 2, 3. Next try. Go for it. Expect a little bit of pullback.
Okay. Baba.
China. Continuous disappointment. If you want to take a shot though, $90, as close to 90 as you can. That's going to be a pretty solid 50% retracement here. I do think the lows are in. It's not my place, but I think if you wanted to be a bull, it is at $89. And if you see that in the next day or two, I think you could start loading some maybe long dated stuff. Don't expect this to go right away. It's going to be choppy as hell. Buy yourself enough time.
Okay. Carnival Cruise.
Boomtown, right? But so this is 1, 2, 3, 4 times the charm. There it is, right? So we're here. We're in the extension, potentially into 30s. You got most of this done. I think you're sitting, boom, right there, 24.59. You need to hold this level. It can get a little bit choppy. Next stop is to 29. But this is one where it could take a little while to get there. If you get pullbacks, expect pullbacks to be small in the 22s.
Okay, Airbnb. They had an okay earning.
Is this okay? Rapid fire? We doing all right? Airbnb.
No, that was great.
Airbnb, massive consolidation. No touch. No touch at all. So lower high, lower low still. Not happening at all. This is not a good chart at all.
And it hasn't been for years, to be honest. Like,
No,
really have
yeah.
fun where they may be.
I mean, 130s is a minimum that you're gonna see soon. But I wouldn't really be interested until 118.
Unity.
Just reported, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is that a good old beat and skeet? Sure looks like it. Oh yeah, baby. That's right. So here we go, right? So nice, beautiful, picture perfect beat and skeet right there. There it is. Boom, skeet with the beat. 1843.
Hims.
Retest. Hims, massive breakout. Forming here, big old. So this was a multi-day. So if you're the chart people, cup handle, boom, right? This is in progress. You want to hold this prior all-time high just over 26s, 25.75. So it's okay to go sideways a little bit. You want to see this hold. If it doesn't, it's not a big pullback, but it is a pullback. It's a pullback in like the dollar range. So, so this is your setup. This is happening. You can see pullbacks here. Then you are looking probably in the 30s, like low 30s.
Okay. Walmart.
All-time high day after day, greatest retail in the world, apparently. So this, I don't know where this came from. You know what? I'm going to do something a little different for you. I'm going to go down to a 365-day chart. These candles represent 365 days, each one of these. So you have two, boom, this is your extension. You're going to have to come out. Oh, you're almost there.
And they've had a hell of a year too. I mean,
well, yeah. So this is a yearly chart, basically. Dude, I don't know. You're just going.
Okay.
Here.
Uber.
Yeah, that's a tough one on this because you're beyond all consolidation here. You're just in kind of like you're in space.
Buying now, the risk reward is not amazing. Buying now, I would imagine. Maybe
Target. But side note, did you get the retail numbers today? We have official retail sales coming later. There was a retail numbers of some sort came out, some flavor of retail numbers. We saw Best Buy pop. We saw Target doing well. Trump is going to be president. I've been saying that you want to be long to consumer. I think you've been saying something like that as well. But okay, what's the next one?
That's fair. And we get CPI tomorrow, guys. So I'll be live 8:20 tomorrow for CPI. Uber.
So what about Lyft? Uber. Ooh, actually, okay. So levels here. This is a big kind of pull in. Still consolidation. If this is going to be the spot, I think this is interesting. Let me just take this. Double check. Check. Yeah, so this is really interesting level. Big order block here. So this is the last low, 68. So far, you're 69.83. Then clearly as close to 70 as you can get. You have a massive, this is a tough chart. It's not an easy chart. Massive consolidation right in here. You're sitting in it. Right in the smack center of it. So I would wait for one of two things to happen. If you're long, stay long. It's not a reason to sell here. I would wait till you see like sub 69s, potentially look for ads. My biggest concern is going to be, let's take this down. That's not holding the Momo of this more recent trend, but where my best shots are, right in the 68, 69 level. So hopefully this makes sense to you. It is a channel up long-term, but what you want to do is you want to add towards the bottom of that channel. You're really close, not quite there, but you can see a little bit of wick and then extension through just like you saw right here. If you see that kind of price action, a little bit of wick down out of this channel, then I would start to get in there and you're likely right back in to the highs, 96 target.
All right. Last couple of them. PayPal.
Dude, I guess new bull case for your boy. I didn't know that you can buy, sell crypto in Venmo. I mean,
no one really does it on PayPal.
There's something to be said that I didn't know that either, right? Because like if you didn't know that, I mean, that's They're not doing a good job advertising that if you could, right? So you're stuck in the mud. I think so. When I say stuck in the mud, so this is essentially trade from here. If you were long in the 60s, I was at like 83. That's like target acquired here. Now you need to breathe a little bit. I think that this does resolve higher. Essentially, sub 80 is your buy levels, but you want to see this start to hold right in here. I'm going to draw you a little box from here to here. This is that box of new demand, right? So you can get to just under 80, literally 80. Otherwise, you are not quite out of the woods, but it could get a little choppy. Ideally, 117.
Okay, so I literally have to leave in 2 minutes, so we're gonna do super rapid fire.
Jason Paper gave a bullish target PayPal 117. Just so you know. All right,
it's undervalued. We know that's for sure.
What's the next one? Amazon. I think you want to be here. So I'm gonna go monthly chart. Actually, weekly chart. So monthly confirming. So I posted something about this on when we were doing something last Thursday. We're talking about it. And I'm like, you cannot deny this break, right? So this is a big, when I say break, confirmation. So a confirmation of a 4-year consolidation, right? 1,500 days, 4-year consolidation, a full candle opening outside of that range and ideally closing. Again, we're halfway through the month. As long as the month closes over 189, this is likely a confirmed breakout. It could take a little bit to get there. I would say Bezos needs to be done. But over like this area, I think this is a multi-year breakout, not something to be like taken lightly. I think this is a real deal. I've not been super bullish on Amazon for a long time. Mostly because it has been sideways, but this is what I needed to see. I needed to see a full open and close over this on a larger time frame. We're getting that thus far. Again, if you can get a retest in the 190s, great. Do I think you get it? Probably not. I don't think you do. I think this continues in this channel right here.
Okay, super quick
long-term target. So I'll just go this from a monthly perspective. We'll do this really quick. I don't think this is this is not bad, but so from here to here, this puts you at 290s with the first stop at 250.
Okay, last two quick ones. ELF, and then I'll give you the last one after all.
ELF I bought at 108. Not a lot, just a little bit right over here. So this was just technically right back in this consolidation. It's doing good so far. I think you're not out of the weeds until you're over 150s. So first stop here.
Okay. And then NVIDIA to end it out.
NVIDIA, so 150 is a little psychological level. We are going, your boy is long. We're long dated stuff. They don't report this week. I think that you might get a little bit of a push and then possibly a little pullback near term. So pullback would be next week, just before they start reporting. We are here, 151. We go, I think we see 157s, 156 and change, high 156s. And then I want to see NVIDIA hold 150. But I think that happens if you're long dated calls. The second you start to trade over 150, because NVIDIA has not been over 150. Here's the thing: if you're long dated calls, once NVIDIA crosses 150, and especially if it closes over 150 and opens over 150 the next day, we're probably going to get a big move. That move could take you as high as 160s. I think that's typical NVIDIA kind of front run the move. That's a measured move from this very most recent consolidation. And I think you take advantage of that near term if you see it and you take some profits and you let your runners run.
All right.
If it's a trade.
All right, there we go. I know we couldn't get to some tickers. If you guys want some tickers from Jason, hit him up on Twitter. Just tweet at him. and he'll try to get to them if he can. But
There you go.
make sure to follow him on Twitter, his YouTube as well.
Appreciate you, man. It's always fun. I miss this. This is like one of my favorite days of the week.
This is like our 20th episode or something, dude. This is
Dude, I'm just saying, School of Games, the X Mastermind is specifically Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, so I can keep our time on Tuesdays and Thursdays free. So that's it. So dedication for you, man.
And I know everyone here appreciates you because I said it before. I'll say it again. I think you're the best technical guy on the planet.
No, I appreciate it.
You understand this stuff, and we appreciate it so much.
Very cool.
Thank you, everybody. All right, Jason. I'll see you next week. Bye. All right, guys. I got to run. Thank you all for being here. Market open tomorrow, 8:20 CPI instead of 8:45. Street's expecting around 2.5%. If we get 2.6, might be a little hotter. We're at 2.4. If we get 2.3, that would be really good. CPI tomorrow, 8:20. We'll be live in the morning. And we will keep going from there. Thank you, everybody. Love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Market Open. Bye, everyone.